Welcome back to Numbers on the Board.
Numbers on the board, yes!
We're continuing our tradition, and today we are ranking the top 10 shooting guards across basketball. If you missed point guards, you dropped that last week. Wasn't as controversial as I thought. I looked through the comment section. Of course, there's people that are going to disagree, but we ain't getting no crazy blow-ups. I got literally 0 tweets. So they must have agreed that our lists were at least decent enough. And today that changes.
That was like probably the first time. Usually there's always a outlier within the list, and everybody seems to have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Y'all kept saying that when I was doing, I was like, you don't have somebody on your list.
It felt that way because Fred VanVleet being top 10 was something.
But at the same time, because it's 10th, I don't think nobody really.
Yeah.
I thought Fred VanVleet had a solid year last year.
I don't think nobody disagrees with
And
that.
who did you leave out? Like Drew Holiday?
It was like Drew Holiday.
And I don't
Jamal
think-
Murray.
Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I didn't have Jamal Murray on my
Cade
list.
Cunningham. So all these dudes could potentially be in the same realm of players. So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But today,
You might have would have got more pressure if one of us forgot. If like 2 people didn't have Drew Holiday, we probably would have heard something. But I think people probably just chopped it up to like, D Mills ain't rocking with Drew Holiday.
They think I don't rock with the Celtics in general.
Ah, true.
We gonna see.
True.
it's not
We
like
gonna
there's
see
a
today.
whole like 15-minute montage on YouTube of you not rocking with the Celtics or nothing, right?
Is it? I literally don't know.
You know what's hilarious, bro?
It's crazy because he does know, he just not thinking.
And it's funny that we starting off that way because literally last night I got off and I laid in bed and I'm like, what should I watch? And Clips had made a D Mills video.
Mm-hmm.
Recently?
Yeah,
came
like
out
it just
yesterday.
came out yesterday. And I watched it and I could not believe it's so much stuff in there that I forgot. Like you have some incredible moments. The Charlie Wilson thing was in there.
Oh, I've seen that one.
I know you've seen that one. Yeah, he's
That's
gonna,
an unforgettable
yeah, he's gonna
moment,
put
though.
that in all of your montages, brother.
I opened up YouTube. It's right here.
Yeah,
There it
that's
is.
how it happened for me. But there was one where I just completely forgot. Man, what were we talking about? We was talking about and then I'm like Hitler. No, they cannot see me like Hitler. It's and KB is like, what that mean or something? And you was saying whatever. We started laughing. KB like, no, what does that mean? And you was like, I don't know. They can't see Hitler. They cannot see Hitler. And it took you so many times to finally get in. When you got it, you was like, oh, that's a bar. That's
years later.
crazy.
Be sure to leave a like on the episode, subscribe to the channel. A couple days ago, I got a message
From who?
from somebody. And they said, just remind me real quick, who is Darrick's favorite player of all time?
Damian Lillard.
And I replied, Damian Lillard, ? Why? They said, well, Dame reached out.
What?
Dame reached out. And courtesy of Damian Lillard and the team at Adidas, here you go, my brother.
What?
Courtesy of Damian Lillard and Team Adidas. Open those up for us, man.
Let me. Eee.
The
Snap.
I don't like
not
your
even
reaction.
released yet, Damian
I
Lillard.
don't like your
I got some unreleased days.
Unreleased.
These are fire. I love this color.
Yeah.
So I think
I
they
love
come
this
out on
colorway.
the they come out on the 13th live. But they
Okay.
hit me up, of course, knowing that D Mills is a huge Damian Lillard fan. They wanted him to get a little sneak
he
preview.
spoke
Okay.
prematurely in the group chat. I don't think you caught on, though.
Yeah,
What do you say?
Some weeks ago. It don't matter. But
I'll explain it after the show.
Oh, I literally didn't catch on to what you said.
But you know what's better than that?
This
What?
is A1. If something's better than this.
2 pair of the unreleased Damian Lillards. There you go,
What?
my brother.
Get the.
He got one for regular wear and one for the shower.
they're not the same color, are they?
No, they're
Oh.
different colorways.
Oh, my favorite color, purple.
That's your favorite color?
What? Hell yeah. I love a nice, pretty purple. This
That
is
colorway is
A1.
actually really dope right there.
No,
I
this
like
color.
No,
I
I like
love the
those
first.
better than
This
the
was
other
better
one.
than the first one.
Yeah.
I like the red.
I
That
didn't
was hard,
think
too.
they was gonna top that, but they
Right.
topped it.
If you
That's-
played for the Phoenix Suns, you could throw them on.
Is he gonna mismatch the laces?
You know, maybe.
You know, it's a D Mills signature.
It
I might do
is.
that.
That's why I asked.
Now-
Yeah, I might throw in the purple lace.
Now, you know what you got to do, right?
I gotta go hooping.
No. You ain't got to go hooping. You got to go make sure you got some Adidas. Because what I don't want you to do is come on the show with the Nike jacket, Nike hoodie with the Adidas
Oh
shoes.
no, you always got to match the brands.
My boy.
You always got to match.
My
the
boy.
brand.
My boy.
Shout out to our friends over at Adidas. Those released on the 13th live to the public.
Shout out to Dame Dollar.
Dame Nines, baby. Dame.
Shout out to Dame.
Shout out to Dame, man. A real one. Shout out to Dame.
Dame 9, and you had him at 9 on your
Hey,
list.
these are probably these are definitely some of my favorite Adidas shoes I've gotten.
Yeah.
You said that about the Hardens.
I know. These are good. These are just as good.
I was just talking.
I wanted to get them to you last week, but we couldn't. They were just sitting in my car, and I'm like looking at the box. I'm like,
Oh, you know, my girl last night had texted me and said, "No, she ain't." We was cleaning up. She was like, "Did you get some last episode?" I was like, "No, I didn't get anything. Was I supposed to?" She said, "No, I was just."
Because when they were over there, I had showed her those.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
She just like you with the line.
Because I wanted to get them to you last week, but we
Yeah.
couldn't for reasons. But I thought I was going to give them to you last week. So I told him, like, yeah, tomorrow I'm giving these to Darrick. We giving these to Darrick from Damian Lillard and Adidas, yada, yada, yada. And then Adidas team said, hold on. Got to wait till next episode. So, again, shout out to them. Shout out to our connects over there. Really, really cool to have the connection to know that Damian Lillard is your favorite player and we can get you the unreleased version of his shoes like that. So
That's amazing.
shout
Yeah,
out to him. Shout out
because
to him.
Kyrie ain't sent me no shoes.
Kyrie, your favorite player?
Paul George ain't sent me no shoes. Damn sure ain't getting none from Ben Simmons, and I was up here fighting for my life. Ben, you gotta send me something, brother. I was up here fighting for my life,
So
man.
then Woody got to send you his shoes too.
No,
That was
was
like 6
asking
years
because
ago.
he literally told me he had me. Yeah, Paul George, Ben, Devin Booker, Kyrie, all these guys are right. They never told me that. Spencer looked at me through a camera in my face and told me, I got you. Matter of fact, I got all y'all. That's what he said.
Send your sashes.
He
Send your
said, I got all
sashes.
y'all. And yeah, so it's cool. It's cool. But guys that I was fighting for, I need some shoes, a signed jersey, something. Come on, Book, PG, Kyrie. Kyrie, you got the answers. Come on, man.
I saw he got like a lifestyle shoe coming out too.
Oh, you do?
I can't say I was a fan of. I like the hoop shoes though.
Yeah, they
but the
nice.
lifestyle shoe, he was streaming and he showed them. Like, oh,
Okay.
that's all right.
Was that before he freestyled?
I have no idea. I just saw him clips on Twitter.
I got to go watch the freestyle. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
fun.
legit.
It was fun a little bit.
legitimate.
Yeah, it was like a
decent.
real freestyle. You know how
Yeah.
people freestyle, but they got the BlackBerry in their phone.
Oh,
in their hand.
okay, yeah.
No shots.
Who
But
No, I was gonna say that's definitely a shot because that was very specific.
I remember that was a big controversy back in the day. It's not a freestyle. He's got the BlackBerry in his hair.
everybody who do those like radio shows and they claiming they not freestyle.
No.
They literally heard that beat and wrote to it way.
And
before.
sometimes you can hear them transition to a real freestyle.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's the full 16 I wrote, but the beat's still going, so I got to just say some stuff now. And I remember who is it?
But of
Vince
course, when your boy do it,
Vince Staples said he was on Sway in the Morning, and they kept playing beats. He said, "I done gave up the whole album. I ain't got no more verses." He said Sway is the only person I rap for on the planet. Anybody else, no. But for Sway, I'll rap. And he had me rapping all day long.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that pressure being on a show and then someone just drop a beat and say, "Hey, freestyle for me."
That's
Like,
why like Tyler and Earl and them cut it out immediately by trolling. Like nobody even asked them to rap no more because of that. They were just saying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like when they do it. The only thing I didn't like is when Ebro tried to play those beats for Uzi. Uzi early in his career went on Hot 97, and you know Uzi got a certain style, and Ebro literally played like boom bap beats for
Oh,
him.
wow.
And it's
Oh.
like, bro, what are you doing, bro? And Uzi like, I'm not rapping to this. Like, what are we doing? You don't go up there and be like, all right, Uzi, freestyle, and you play a Nas beat.
Yeah.
I hear rap on his Nas beat. Because I wouldn't ask Nas to rap on the Lil Uzi.
Uzi beat,
Yeah, you know what I
yeah.
mean? But
Certain rappers, they got their certain style. They don't really.
yeah, that was hilarious.
We got to drop the mic.
Yes. Some of the most underrated mid-range shooters.
Underrated mid-range shooters.
Underrated.
Rudy Gay comes to mind.
Okay.
Rudy Gay had a very nice mid-range game.
Underrated.
I also think about a lot of those like big men who, especially like a little bit of the ones from like 2010,
Like Brandon
2000s.
Bass.
Brandon Bass is the
Brandon
first thing that
Bass
came
was
to
like
mind.
one of the first came. KG was out. I mean, KG not even really underrated, but you think about his shooting mid range was like
Oh yeah, that top of the key.
amazing.
I rewatched game 6, 2012 Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics the other day, and Brandon Bass came up. He had like 2 mid-range jump shots in the first quarter. I was like, oh yeah, there go Brandon Bass.
Underrated, for real? Darius Sungila.
I don't even know who that is.
I know.
You don't know Darius Sungila?
Darius Sungila, mid-range jumper.
What year?
Mwah.
This had to be. I mean,
Mwah. This is
he
mid-2000s.
played for the Wizards like in maybe 2004, 2005.
Wizards, Kings, Bulls, Darius Sungila, mid-range jumper. Pull that up, Twitter. Put that on Instagram. Take this video and put that on Instagram, and let's see who Darius Sungila is.
Who are the greatest mid-range jump shooters of all time? Because then the way you answer would tell me if this player is truly underrated. It don't have to be in any order. Just like when you say great mid-range shooters, who comes to
Michael
mind?
Jordan.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Steve Nash. Steph Curry.
Well,
All right, Chris
mean,
Paul is underrated as a
Chris Paul.
mid-range jump shooter then.
Carmelo Anthony was in. Carmelo would probably be in my top 5 too, along with Chris Paul.
Dirk has to be in the top
Oh, yeah.
5.
Oh
Dirk,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Because we did a TikTok, didn't we, of ranking the top 10.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did do that.
And Chris Paul went on that
He
list.
went on the list, and
Well, he doesn't necessarily. You don't need a pretty jump shot for it to be effective.
and in his prime at least, there was nothing you could do on a pick and roll because if you bring two, he's just gonna dish it off to whoever the roll man is. If you drop, he's just gonna shoot over or through the mid range. It was
Should have won a championship then.
yeah, he should have.
Nah, Rip Hamilton, underrated
Oh,
mid-range
yeah.
shooter.
They literally ran
Especially come off
screenplays for
screens.
that man.
14-foot.
The shots
downs,
that
baby.
Klay Thompson come off of for threes, he was coming off of for mid-range. Think Zach Randolph, underrated mid-range. Jermaine O'Neal, Paul Millsap,
A lot of the
Carlos
fours.
Boozer.
Oh yeah, for
Boozer.
sure.
Carlos Boozer was a money in the mid-range.
And Boozer had that like slingshot
Yeah.
type form too.
Ugly, bro.
He really did.
I just can't stand how he faded like backwards for no reason.
Bro,
on the
he would
jump.
fade wide open. Like a wide open jump shot for him was a fading jump shot.
Bron had a little bit of a fade to his jumper too. I just
You
don't
said
see
who
how that's
did?
natural.
Braun.
Oh, Bron?
Yeah, especially earlier in his career. Nowadays,
Yeah.
it's pretty consistent, but
Mhm,
back
it's
then
up
it
and
was
down.
bad.
Elton Brand had a nice mid-range game. As a 4 back in that time, you had to have a mid-range game. That was spacing.
That was their space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was spacing.
That's crazy how far this game has come.
Brad
but like
Miller.
now, if you have a center that doesn't
should be the
space,
three.
you talk
Yeah.
about it being lack of spacing.
Mhm.
when you watch the old games, you'd be like, damn, this is like nothing. There's no space at all, bro. And guys were still getting their
That's
stuff
because it
off
was so
regularly.
organized. Like they ran a play basically every time to get somebody, and
Super
it wouldn't even
uniform.
have to be a play. It was just like
Some type
we
of
getting the
set.
pin down, we
Yeah.
getting something like that, and they gonna make some type of action happen.
I try to figure out like when I watch those old games, like are we more creative as an offense
Yeah,
in the
for
NBA
sure.
now? But I think we're also more monotonous, where a lot of people run very similar stuff. Like it's gonna equate to open threes and corner threes and stuff now. But sometimes I watch those old games, I'm like, how the hell did they get this man so open? When again, there's zero spacing.
Well, one thing is different. We don't have our generation is like a lot of ISO. That's definitely way more organized, and you see them running sets. So that's kind of why
I think another thing too is we talked about it a couple pods ago how like matchups was literally just like position based. Like
Yeah.
it didn't matter. You might have an easy matchup because they shooting guard just wasn't all that, and they really didn't always just switch those type of matchups. And I feel like they just I don't know. I don't think the defensive like planning was the same as we think now when it's like we can't let this dude drop over 30.
I think guys had more. It was just different because guys came up differently and had more pride in their
Yeah.
matchup versus cross matching. And like I said, you have certain situations where guys would be put on there, but a lot of the guys who were certain defenders, they would just guard that position. So Shane Battier he's a small forward, so he's going to guard Tracy McGrady versus like, let's put Shane Battier on Chris Paul. Like, nah. You know what I mean? It's like Steve Nash and him are going. That's why the Dawkins duels are so, like, when you look back, it's always like the point guards are going at each other and you get to see them guard each other. Rondo and Derrick Rose in the playoffs. I just think it was a lot different. I like the way they play today. Obviously, you like the space, the entertainment. You like isolation. You like seeing a guy being able to get into his bag. But there is something to appreciate when you look back at how things were and how matchups actually were. You could really determine who got the better of who.
Yeah.
Because now it's like who just had a better overall game, but he wasn't guarding him, and he had Herb Jones on him versus he didn't have somebody as elite as Herb Jones. So it's like how you even gauge this, and I kind of like the identity of teams. Like when the Pistons had Chauncey and Ben Watt, they had an identity.
Yeah.
Today we don't have identity. It's like, oh, they're more defensive, they're more offensive, but like there is no real identity. You had Jerry Salone flex offense, the pick and roll, and you know exactly how he was trying to get shit done. You had Phil Jackson with the triangle. we don't have too much of that. It's kind of like, the last person that really had some shit that was like that was like D'Antoni, where it's like no matter where D'Antoni going, you know what he is trying to accomplish. And
I feel like the Spurs kind of have an identity. They play a certain style of basketball that no matter who's on the roster, they play that certain style. That's probably like the only team.
No, it's
And
way
the
more
Warriors.
team.
The Warriors also have
The Warriors are going to have
a
theirs.
system and a
Yeah,
style that they like
Warriors.
to play.
Even Ime ball is a real thing, if you ask me. It's very similar to a D'Antoni thing with way less isolation, but the 5-out cuts, 3-point shots, and kind of eliminating the mid-range.
But and you also got to defend with Ime too. He does a good job.
yeah,
balancing
don't
both.
get me wrong. Teams are going to have philosophies and things.
I'm
It
sorry,
just-
I said Ime ball. I meant to say Missoula
Missoula.
ball. Missoula ball.
It just doesn't.
Missoula.
It don't because everybody kind of plays so similar. It don't stand out versus back then. When D'Antoni was doing what he was doing, it was kind of like what the.
But you know
hell?
why D'Antoni's
Amari
one? 'Cause
Stoudemire is playing center.
yeah, he evolutionized the
What?
game, so that's why it stood out so much because we had never ever seen it before.
The league is calling like
And
it's
I feel
always
like
been
it's hard to
copycat.
evolutionize again because we at an offensive peak.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yeah,
hard
somebody
to evolve
gonna
again.
come out and do something. But it's such a copycat, and it's always gonna be copycat. But it's like to like a whole new standard. It's like it's way out of this world. The way to evolutionize
To
something.
bring it back.
Yes,
It's the deep
'Cause I
evolutionize.
don't think there's another step. There's not like they're bringing in a 4-point line.
But-
You have to
but
bring
just
back-
won't- it just won't work.
back
It won't
then-
be effective
but
because you
back
can't put up
then
the same numbers.
Back
Yeah.
then, we didn't think it was gonna be another step either.
So what? Now we go back to having dominant bigs.
No. Everybody
good
don't have to do
bigs.
that. But like, I always thought that the Cavs having the two bigs was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is gonna be
That's
interesting.
a really good point because I felt like the big position was kind of getting away from us, where you could really get away with it. We're having like a cheap big, and we'll go small when it really matters. But now you need a big that's going to rebound the ball, defend
Yes.
the paint, block shots, and even maybe stretch the floor. That's one of the prime positions you need to be successful.
I agree because I talked about it for years, where it's like I love Porzingis and I love the unicorn thing, but I kind of got further away from it because everybody was going this unicorn route. But like you saying, it got to the point where it's like, okay, you got somebody who's 7 foot who's gonna stand behind the perimeter and shoot threes, but like the other stuff got to get done. You got to rebound, have some interior, and obviously Porzingis has gone a little bit closer towards that, and less just from standing around on the perimeter.
I
like
think
with the
there's
Mavericks.
nothing more frustrating as like when you're playing defense and you can't come up with a rebound to close out the stop.
Yeah.
I think that's just like one of the most glaring problems you could have as a team, especially when it gets later in the season and then into the playoffs and you can't get a rebound. It's just not going
We
to work.
tried to X out some of the big men and some of the power forwards by just putting in a small forward there, but I feel like we kind of reverted back by putting in dirty work centers and dirty work fours. Where like Aaron Gordon's value, I think, went up dramatically because he's an actual power forward. When everybody was going into a way where it's like, let's just put Paul George at power forward. And it's like, yeah, we could do that, but then other teams started to make you pay when it's like, no, we actually have a power forward, like Mike's saying, that will go out muscle that thin ass small forward or shooting guard you got. And I kind of like that.
Well, I think one thing, everybody wanted to be like the Warriors. Everybody literally wanted to be. Everybody's dream was to have a Draymond Green, but unfortunately, no one had a Draymond Green, and they just tried to copy it, and everybody realized that it's pretty much a failure.
I think everybody wanted to play fast.
Yeah,
More
similar
so
to
than
like the
having a
Warriors.
Draymond.
I think Draymond
because-
was like the reason the Warriors was able to play so fast.
That small ball four went crazy. Everybody had a small ball four. And I don't think everybody was trying to have him play like Draymond, but it was just like, let's just have somebody who can space more. Let's just put four players around a big, like
But even I think it's still
the Orlando Magic did.
it's extremely
with Dwight.
prevalent now, though. Now that I'm thinking about it, like think about how a lot of teams closed out their lineups last year. We could just name a team, and most of them are going to do something similar. And then some of the teams that wouldn't do something similar, there's an argument that they should be doing that. Like a lot of the times when it was Evan Mobley or Jared Allen on the court to close a game, they look more potent offensively than when they're both of them. Like even the Boston Celtics, they're basically running 4 guards and then either Al Horford or Porzingis to close out games. And I think that's kind of the recipe a lot of the places.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like the best way. That's probably the best way to close because one, you add defensive versatility, you can switch everything, and then offensively, you're just moving so much faster. Like it's, if that team has a big, you're giving up rebounds, but you're trusting on your team to rebound as a unit. And I think with the Celtics, they're lucky enough that they have the big wings and Tatum and Brown and Darrick White. Like, they can all rebound as a collective versus relying on one big to do
That's
it.
the biggest commodity in basketball, having those big wings that can
Yes.
play multiple positions.
Even Drew
play up or
Holiday's
play
a good
down.
rebounder for a point guard. So, like, they're able to get away with it because they have so many good rebounders all around them.
I agree. I think they actually kind of unfair of a comparison because they just loaded. Drew Holiday is like Drew Holiday is what 6'5".
Yeah.
Darrick White is what 6. He's the smallest player on the court.
Everybody
6'4".
on their starting lineup might make the top 10 list for their position.
Yeah,
No, facts.
yeah. Seriously, because Darrick White is damn sure on my shooting guard list.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Let's get into it then. Top 10 shooting guards in basketball. Like I said last episode, if a player is not on the list that you think should be there, they might be categorized at another position, or we just don't think they top 10. Simply put, we do have requirements to games played. There will be some guys that were teetering that line that we included. So like in last episode, there was no LaMelo Ball, there was no Ja Morant. They played 20 games and then 9 games, so they just didn't make it. This list is not as deep as the last list because you can go 12 deep in the point guard position and really think that you have a star point guard. This is super top heavy. So for me, it was like prioritize the things that I find valuable in basketball. So I'm curious to see how all the lists differ. Who gonna get out there first?
there ain't no LaMelo. There ain't nobody that was like just not involved because of injury, right?
No.
No.
In this position. Yeah.
No,
I
yeah.
think this might be one of the only positions that has that. I think we're gonna see at least 1 or 2 guys in every position where it's like they was injured, like the Ja Morant, LaMelo. So yeah. At 10, who you got, D-Mill? Start us off.
At 10, let me go to my list. We have Herb Jones. That's where I put Herb Jones. Thought defensively he had a great year. He made all defensive first or second team. I don't remember
First
which
team.
one. I just think defensively he just does a lot of things for the Pelicans where he covers up mistakes. He guards his own man. He guards other team's best player at a high level. And he also just does a good job of being a very good help defender too. Like you see him making up mistakes from guys getting beat. He's great and he make those extra rotations. And offensively he does what you need him to do. He had a career year shooting the ball, and I feel like everything that he's doing for them is predicating to how good they were in the West. Like, they were a team that was kind of slept on in the West. I wouldn't say he's, like, the driving force of it, but he's definitely –
plays a big part, yeah.
Yeah, he plays a big part in what they did last year.
Yeah, my 10th guy is Devin Vassell, a guy that I think is highly underrated in this league. And when we talk about the young players around here, he had a really good year. I think he's going to continue to build upon that. Just the ability to play without the basketball is going to be big for the Spurs going forward. Having somebody on that wing and perimeter that can be a shot maker because they don't have too many of them. And that's going to be something that they're going to need more of this year because we're going to see Chris Paul out there trying to orchestrate it. As much as you can get perimeter shooting from Vic, I think you want him to be all over the place, just being as unpredictable as you can. You want him shooting threes. You want him having isolations. You want him making plays. But you want him picking and rolling and not always being the guy that's picking and popping. You want him using that length for offensive rebounding. And then you have guys like Jeremy Sohan who aren't necessarily looked at to be perimeter threats or anything. I think Devin Vassell is going to be a guy that they're going to continue to look at to not only just be a perimeter threat, but be a scorer. I think he's a really good scorer at all 3 levels, and I think he's going to continue to push that way. And I think there's going to be conversations. I think we kind of talked about it where Devin Vassell was 19 and a half, almost cracked at 20, where it's like he should be a 20-point scorer this year. Even if Devin Vassell comes back and still is around 19 points per game, I still think that there could be a way for him to have an improved season, even if he don't burst through the 20-point scoring.
Yeah.
He's just been a guy that gradually throughout the course of his career has gotten better and better and better quietly, and I think that's been something big for him. I think it's always good to not necessarily have the light shined on you so much, but I think his name just kind of get lost in translation sometimes, transition sometimes when we talking about different players around the league.
I don't know how efficient he was, but I think that's one step that's probably just going to go up regardless in terms of having Chris Paul and being able to get some of those easier buckets.
I got everything in front of me, Mike.
40, I love his
47,
game,
37, 80.
40. He's shooting. I think he's going to be around 50. Maybe even that 3-point could get up, though. But this is why I say so. He's such a fundamental guy. He could do all the extra stuff, but he's so, like, his game reminds me of a person that just does drills all day. Like, let me do my 1 dribble pull-ups. Let me do my between the legs to my pull-up. That's how fundamental his game is. And I think with Chris Paul, he'll have him, not that it'll be a priority of him coming off screens, but just gentle actions of him getting open. He's gonna eat off that instead of having to always create by himself.
I wonder if they will give him more.
Give him more touches.
Just give him more opportunity to do other things. Because, like, one of the things that stood out when I was looking into his stuff is, like, he did real well in isolation.
Yeah.
And but he didn't have a bunch. Because, I mean, Devin Vassell isn't a guy that you're about to give, hey, watch out, this Devin Vassell time. But whenever somebody shows you that is something that they can do, he reminds me of Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Baby
reminds
Chris.
me so much of Chris Middleton.
Just skinny.
And
I
if you
remember
can
his
have
first
that
year
with
the
Wemby.
Spurs, whatever. He had a game where he hit a couple threes and he was feeling himself, but he was a rookie. And it's the Spurs. Like, the Spurs is so, like,
Uniform.
military
Yeah.
uniform. He took a heat check three and he immediately looked at Pop, and Pop was like, come on now.
Reel yourself back in,
Come
young
on,
fella.
But
Reel
that's
yourself
like,
back
he
in.
definitely got it. I wonder if it's ever like he feels like he needs that approval first before he really starts to get going.
I mean, I think he just has to do it consistently at a consistent enough rate to where he don't even have to question it. Certain guys, you might hire those strict coaches, but some dudes, they do get that longer leash because they've shown that they could do it in those moments. That's really all.
It's also a guy who shot 70% at the rim.
Yeah. I don't remember what his frequency was, but I saw that and that jumped out off the page for me. 71% is ridiculous. That's like a center.
Yeah, especially for a guard.
Yeah.
And the shot quality grades out in the F.
So it's not. Yeah. So that's
Those
another thing to
contested
think about.
layups.
Doing his thing, man. Devin Vassell.
My number 10 is going to be Jalen Suggs. One of the best defensive wings / guards in basketball. Obviously, his position is translating to a point guard for the next season, so he won't get ranked next year because he's not going to crack top 10 PGs. But the value that he brings on defense and to say that his three-point shot is nearly 40%, I think it's 39.7% for last season, was as important to me as some of the other players who are better offensively than him that did not make my list. I thought what he did as a screen navigator, as a tone setter at that point of attack defender is one of the best, maybe like 3 to 4 in the entire league. And you're telling me on catch and shoot, he can shoot 42%, and overall he can shoot 39%. He basically answered every single question you had of him over his first 2 years. Now we got some new questions because he's a point guard now, but he did everything you could have imagined him until we got to the playoffs where he shot 20% from 3. But we're not going to look at that. First playoff series for him, everybody can't be Paolo Banchero.
I had Jalen Suggs as my number 10 too. Everything you said was right. I think his impact defensively kind of like helped mold this team into what it's kind of becoming in terms of like a defensive-oriented team. And he's the reason why they trusted him to not go out there and get a point guard. They went out there and got more shooting and said, you could be our starting point guard. So I thought the season that he had, like, he should be on the top 10 list, especially also making the second team all defensive.
He's not on my top 10 list.
He didn't make mine, unfortunately. He was actually number 12, number 11, I mean.
Shout out to Jalen Suggs.
Number 9?
Yes,
Malik
sir.
Monk. This is where I have Malik Monk. I thought Malik Monk had a very solid year last year. I love the fact that he's able to run that offense and close out games next to De'Aaron. I think he also has that, like, big shot Kahuna type mentality, too. Like, even though he's playing with De'Aaron, you still see him have the confidence to sometimes take over a game late. I just love everything that he does on the basketball court for him. I think offensively, there's not a drop-off when he's on the court versus, I mean, it probably is slightly, but like, because it's De'Aaron Fox, but like Malik Monk does a good job of running the show even if De'Aaron's not on the court with him.
Happy to see Malik get some love because he didn't make my list.
He didn't make my list, but I love what you're saying, though. Like, I think I like the chemistry between De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Like, De'Aaron Fox is such a late-game closer, and they'll be closing it out together, and you'll see in a big game in a moment, De'Aaron Fox will throw it over to Malik Monk because he just trusts him that much.
I just love that Malik Monk found something and got some stability after having such a rough start to his career in Charlotte because it was looking very dim, and it was kind of like, dang, Malik Monk was always a guy who at the least could get you a bucket. He can't even do that with the Hornets, who aren't good. And for him to have that year with the Lakers, bet on himself, and then find a comfortable spot and home with the Kings who value what he does. It's always beautiful to see a player like Malik Monk go somewhere and get empowered by being who he is. Kind of like Jordan Clarkson when he got to the Jazz. It was like the Jazz are like, here, you want to take wild shots? Quinn Snyder, like, man, we want that. We want you to be that. Don't shy away from that. We know it's going to be head scratchers with that. We know what comes with it, but go do you. And I just think players like that, when they are able to be fortunate enough to find a home that allows them to do that, they kind of they look different. It just gives them a different value and aspect. And number 9 for me, I have Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets. Jalen Green is a guy that, you know, is somebody we for a while now have talked about wanting to see more of and wanting to see him hit a certain level of consistency in different parts of his game, whether it's the playmaking, playing without the basketball, defense. He's starting to get to that point where expectations are rising. The team is getting better. There's not the excuse of being on a Houston Rockets who aren't good with any talent. And I think last year was solid for him. It was solid for him. He made the top 10 based on that second half of having them in that conversation for that last play-in spot, especially after Sengun went down. But even with him making my top 10, I will say that there's going to have to be a big jump in a lot of things for him next season to continue to be a guy that's on his top 10 list. I don't think it's out of the world for him to continue to be that player. I just think this is going to be a very, very huge year in the career of Jalen Green to answer not only questions to people like us, but I think the Rockets organization are going to need questions answered as they go forward to continue how they're going to build this team out because there is so much young talent. And I think the expectation has risen in Houston to where we saw them take a step last year, and now they're going to need to take another step. And it's not going to be a lot of those situations where they're making those youthful mistakes and closing out games the wrong way. And you have somebody like Ime, who we saw wasn't afraid to sit him down when he wasn't playing the type of basketball that Ime thinks is conducive to winning. My biggest thing with Jalen Green is, again, sometimes the shot selection can be poor, and it stands out a lot more on teams like this with a lot of talent surrounding you. I think the tunnel vision, it can be Zach LaVine-ish. And I think there is something said about guys like him, Zach, and all of these other guys who are such athletically gifted guys who don't really give you much defensively. He did take a step up, but I think that there is going to be another step to be taken when you have a coach like Ime. I don't make the rules. You know what I mean? I know Houston Rocket fans always get defensive about their guys, and especially Jalen Green. I don't make the rules. Y'all hired a defensive-minded coach. He's going to expect that. Congratulations, you took a jump. They're going to say it's another jump to be taken. That's just the reality of it.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him because he's one of the people in his draft class that didn't get that extension. Him and Sengun. Because I'm sure they're trying to figure out exactly what they have in Jalen Green. I will give him his credit that he bought in defensively this season, but like you mentioned, he's a smaller, thin guy, so I don't expect him to be super great defensively, but because he is such an athlete with his speed and his athleticism, you want him to be a lot better. And for me personally, players like him, players like Cam Thomas, they are such a blind spot for me when it comes to trying to rank them because when they're good, they're fucking amazing. Yeah. That 10-game streak when he averaged 30, there's nothing you could say to him because he was perfect. But because he doesn't add much value outside of scoring, because he's not the playmaker that you want him to be, or because he's not the defender that you want him to be, I personally, in a list like this, again, he can fly up this list next year and we'd be talking differently, but based on my list today, I'm taking Herb Jones higher on my list.
Me too.
Because I know night in, night out, what Herb does well, he's going to do it every single game. That being one of the 5 best defenders in basketball, he's going to do that every single game. While with Jalen Green, he can give me 30 or he can give me 12 on inefficient shooting, and that is just not something I want to count on today.
Yeah, Herb Jones is a better basketball player in 2025.
I would agree with that, but I don't know because a guy like Herb, I think that when it comes to ranking players, traditionally the guys that are self-creators are going to rank higher because I see Jalen Green between the leg, pull-up jump shot. Well, Herb Jones doesn't do that, so he's somewhat undervalued in the grand scheme of things. But if I'm trying to win a basketball game, I'm going to take Herb in most cases. But a guy like Jalen Green has the potential and the tools to fly up this list.
That's the only part of the conversation where you can say anything about Jalen Green is that it's the potential base. But that's the point I'm saying. Anybody who is going off of basketball, I don't care how big of a fan you are, as of today, 2024, September, whatever it is, September 10th, Herb Jones is a better basketball player, as he should be. He's an older, more experienced basketball player. He's just a better guy. He plays a high-level defense. And then on offense, Herb Jones almost gave you 50, 40, 90 on, like, how many shots? I don't know. But that's a better basketball player. When you talk about tween shot creators, you have to be elite at that. When you're kind of in the middle, it looks fuzzy. That's just the fact. I just don't see at 9 for me. I just don't see too many guys that I would have given. Jalen Green to me had a better. I'll take what he did last year over Austin Reaves.
I see it, and that's how
I'll take it over Cam Thomas,
that's how it
Clay,
felt making this list.
Malik. Anfernee Simons was halfway available. I would take Anfernee Simons, but he just hasn't.
That's why I gave the nod to Jalen Suggs over Jalen Green. Jalen Green was my 11 because of the defensive thing on a nightly basis. But
Yeah, I'm
obviously
taking Green over
their
Suggs.
responsibilities are significantly different, even if they play the same position.
All right. Did you give your 9?
My 9 was Devin Vassell, who we already talked about.
Yeah.
My 9 was Herb Jones. Talked about him a little bit. I thought the most impressive thing was if you look at the first team all defense, it's literally all bigs. It's like Rudy, Bam, Anthony Davis, and then Vic. And then you have Herb Jones. And I think that just stands out to how good he was defensively.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, I wanted to put Herb Jones so high on this list.
Yeah.
I had to catch myself when I was making, like I had to redo a couple different things because he was so damn high on the list. Because as a role player, like P mentioned, nearly 50, 40, 90, when you already have the force that is Zion Williamson to put the pressure on the rim, like he is in a perfect spot. And what he did defensively last season, like there were times where I'm watching him guard one of the best players in basketball, and I'm like, his ass is locked.
Yeah.
Like, not on Herb is a real saying for a reason. Like, that's real. But ultimately, he ended up in my 8th spot. So he's just one spot above you.
For me, we can go, what we on, number
8.
8? Oh, that's why I had Devin Vassell. We already talked about him a lot.
At 8, I had Herb Jones. Like I said, a guy that does what he does defensively. His all-around game, I think there's parts of his game
His
that
transition is
people
crazy,
don't
too.
know too much about. This is why he was the most underrated guy, my sleeper in his draft class. He was the defensive player of the year at a SEC at Alabama. He was a Swiss Army knife, did everything from creating, rebounding, scoring, defending, and to see him be able to take it to the NBA level. Now, I would say, even though he was a sleeper, I never thought that he was going to shoot 50%, 42% from 3 or 87% from the free throw line.
And it's not a
with
scary
this much
50, 40,
defense.
90 either,
It's
though.
just, it's incredible.
Yeah. Some of the guy that can guard, like, legit, like, 1 through 4, like, at a comfortable level.
In a very, very small portion of his game that has not been untapped, and it probably never will be considering who's on his team.
He's a playmaker.
Him as a pick-and-roll ball handler is in, like,
Yeah.
the 96th percentile.
He's in,
On low volume. Low volume.
Yeah.
But again, that's what he did in college. So it's like I have confidence in him to be able to handle the ball and make decisions. It's just like you said, it's who he plays with, which, who knows how long he's going to be a Pelican. I don't want to put that out there, Pelican fans, but
Future
you
Bull.
know.
You know who's at the top of that list, though?
Who?
Best pick-and-roll ball handler in all of basketball on a low volume?
Who?
His teammate, Trey Murphy III.
For real? So they just got 2 of the most underrated pick
Or
and roll
whoever's
players.
setting that pick, just
Right.
getting them set up right. That's a big Valanciunas pick.
Or Zion.
Or Zion.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
maybe you give them more value and it's like,
It's not, they
Nah,
really
we
not.
don't.
We
all.
just needed small samples of it. We didn't need it all.
Yeah. No, Herb Jones is incredible, man.
Number
I
7.
think 8 is perfect for him, too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we all had him. Well, I had him at 10. Y'all had him at 8. So,
Mike.
This is number
7.
8.
8. No, this is my number 8.
Oh, we don't start. You going to be on 7.
Y'all might be surprised at this one. I had Dante DiVincenzo as my number 8 for the
I'm
year
very
that he
surprised.
Very surprised.
had. One of the top three-point shooters, shot over 40%, and I think what bumps him up, and actually I gave him this spot, 'cause I feel like a lot of people could kind of fit around here. What he did in the playoffs, I think that's what elevated not only his team, but I think a lot of his play. Like, people are gonna kind of know and expect that from him now. The shooting was amazing, hit a lot of late game shots, and he also played really amazing defense too. I think for the year that he had, I can get him on this list.
Not mad at
Yeah.
it. He was a tough cut for me.
Yeah, he didn't make my list.
I don't know if he ended up being 12 or 13, but he was in that realm where, like, he was in actual conversations. And it mostly was because of that one playoff series. Was that Philly? That Philly playoff series where he no, that's Pacers where he averaged like 23.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant when he had the heroics.
He shot
at the game
43%
when
in the
shot.
playoffs.
Yeah.
But that
From three.
series, like, it's one thing to do it in the 82 game
One of those
season.
games
He also
went-
played 81 games.
Which
One
is
of those,
another
one of those
huge-
games he had like 30.
Speaking of the
Or
80s,
maybe 2 of them he had like
I
30.
didn't know Jalen Green had played all 82 games.
Yeah,
either.
he's
So
one of
that
them
was
guys.
that was actually kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys played a lot of games, and then a lot of these guys didn't play a lot of games. Like,
Yeah.
I looked at Anfernee Simons. I'm like, man, we got to start getting Anfernee Simons healthy, D-Mills.
Yeah.
Anfernee Simons, you
And
look at his
Shaden Sharp, who wasn't in conversations for this, but like Shaden Sharp,
He didn't play yet. He didn't really play last year.
Yeah,
always
and,
injured
and he
in
was a
his
guy
young
that
career.
should have been.
Yeah, something about them abdominal
face.
injuries in Portland, I guess. 'Cause That's what
Something's
Shaden
going
Sharp
on.
had.
You go look at
going
Anfernee
on.
Simons.
Something's going on in them abdominals.
That's why you need to trade me Kenneth Walker, man. You want to get him off your hands, and abdominal injuries get kind of crazy, man. He taking hits every game, every play.
You're a running back. You just gotta fight through it.
You gotta eat it.
Yeah.
All right, who your 7, Millie?
Dejounte Murray is what I got.
Me too.
At
Yeah,
number
same.
7.
Me too.
I thought Dejounte did a good job of taking for what he was given. Like, he was in a situation that probably didn't ideally fit him playing next to Trae Young, and he still gave you 22, 5, and 6 or something along those lines. And he still, when Trae Young wasn't there, you saw the other level of what Dejounte can play, and he can actually lead a team and do similar things to what Trae Young does.
Yeah, his numbers were like 27, 7, and 7 without Trae Young.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the win-loss was, but the actual count is
But yeah,
crazy.
but him as a
No
player, you
matter
definitely
what.
see that there's a big step.
Yeah.
He was
Big
playing
growth.
out of position when he was playing with Trae Young.
100%.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's just
definitely
like
a true
both of
point
them.
guard.
He should not be on this list. He will not be on this list next year because he'll be a point guard again. He was overtasked. They traded for him because of what he did defensively that 1 year in San Antonio. Hey, he's the perfect guy to put alongside Trae Young. And on paper, it kind of made sense to me. But as we continue to see it, him, a heavy ball handler type of guy, and again, Trae Young, one of the heavy ball handler type of guys, they just didn't mesh well. But like individually, he didn't have a bad season.
No, he didn't.
Nowhere near.
He had some pretty big shots, and we
Yep.
actually watched a few of
Big
those games together.
performances.
So he's my 7 as well. And I didn't think he was going to rank this high, but then I went through the numbers and went through everything. It's like, yeah, he deserves to be number 7 on his list.
Yeah.
I got DeJounte at 7 for all of the same reasons. I think DeJounte had an underrated year just because the Hawks had an underwhelming year. And with the expectations and Quinn Snyder for the full year, and him and Trae had some time of playing together, and we should see the full throttle thing. And it was disappointing. But my expectations for him are high going into this year with the Pelicans. I think he can really establish himself because it's been a while since we've seen a defensive side of DeJounte like we did in San Antonio. But we've seen his jump in offensive play where, like you said, I don't think DeJounte is leading a team as your number 1. But to be able to have somebody who can be as good as he was in isolation, be able to make those mid-range shots, another, as you dropped the mic, very underrated.
Sure. Underrated
mid-range
handles,
jumpers.
too.
Yeah. And I think one thing, the Pelicans struggled in late game situations. DeJounte can be a guy that comes in there and fixes a lot of that.
I'm hoping that having a guy, like he already kind of spoke on it, but I was saying when he first got traded, maybe having somebody like Herb Jones can reignite that defense just because, number one,
for sure.
not that he's just going to tell him, hey, we're going to lock up. But when you have Herb Jones setting the tone and taking that first initial guy,
Hell yeah.
you now are guarding somebody who isn't. So instead of guarding,
He guarded the other team's best player all season last year.
So-
Unsuccessfully, but that was his
so
role.
now instead of doing that, you're guarding the
Yeah.
second guy. You're guarding.
You're
usage
guarding
two, too.
Darius Garland instead of guarding Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
But
And-
also, I think just having a different change of environment, that Atlanta team, they really weren't defending anything.
Yeah, Willie
At a
Green.
high
Willie
level.
Green, you getting deep. You gonna guard? For
Yeah,
Willie
you
Green.
finna come in now. We have a defensive culture. I think culture definitely does something to a player. Like DeJounte, he was in San Antonio, a defensive-minded culture with structure and everything. He went to Atlanta, they don't have that same defensive-minded culture. Especially when you have a small guard like Trae Young next to him. Like, if he ain't defending, I ain't defending. Like, it just sometimes you just what is it like? You're like when you're in the wrong environment. Sometimes you can just become like a part of that environment.
So you saying
He was a
if you
product
got
of his environment.
if you got friends that hold
System defender.
if you got a friend group full of hoes, that mean you a hoe too.
Nah.
I don't
You
think
can
He
still
said
be
you're not
loyal.
gonna get me.
much of that responsibility offensively just went up. Like I think he got most of his minutes and like a lot of those minutes because he was defending and all that. But once he got to like, I'm a point or like true point guard offensive player, then it kind of went that direction.
He's one of the few people that I feel like his contract every single time makes sense to me. Like, you know, as you keep seeing people get big ass contracts, you're like, damn, he got that. His contract is always pretty okay. And
I think
I can appreciate
DeJounte
it.
Murray has a big year ahead of him too. I said that about Jalen Green. I think DeJounte Murray could go and he can change some things for the Pelicans.
For sure.
Now, are they going to win the Western Conference? No. We don't know who's starting at center. But I think he gives them a completely different look and he gives them something that they've needed for a while now, which is a legitimate point guard who has some size still, who is going to be good enough defensively, I feel like, in that culture. And he's going to be able to, like you say, make some late shots. And he's a Dejounte Murray is a locker room guy.
Mm-hmm.
He boosts his morale. You know what I mean? I don't know if I follow him on Instagram. I don't know if y'all do.
He's a good
guy,
dude.
Yeah, he's gonna randomly post his teammates.
I hope they're like at least top 7 in pace this year. I want them to. I hope they play fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I know they got Zion, and that might be like he has like those short bursts of minutes or whatever, like just for the team to be playing fast. I think that's where they could be at their best because Zion on the wing running with Dejounte, and he's got shooters around him. You could put pressure on the ball, but now you got more point of attack defenders. I think you could really start running.
That would be interesting to see Brandon Ingram buy into a fast pace.
It's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, Damian Lillard got traded, September 22nd? There's still room and time for Brandon Ingram to get traded.
Oh, yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
Based off last year, and that was Dame and Harden, right?
I don't remember
Harden
what
got
data.
traded like very close to the season. Remember that last year was his first year with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Let's see what the date was.
I don't remember.
But it's never too late, basically, is all I'm saying. As long until we get to September 30th, when training camp start, that's probably shut down then. But if he's still
I don't know,
time, man.
KB.
Let me see.
I thought James Harden got traded
James Harden's trade
during the season.
That's what I'm saying.
was November 1st.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it ain't too late.
Yeah.
Like James Harden trade, like then they go to training camp and all of that, and it was like, oh, it might not. No.
The man got traded 3 times in 3 years. That's
No,
crazy.
no.
That man was at a party, had the bottle girls hold up a sign saying Daryl Morey's alive.
Did you give your 7?
My 7 was, it was Dejounte Murray. So
Oh,
you want me to move on to 6?
he's
Before-
consistent
It's
7.
6 and 7.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Before we get to number 6, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words, Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the type of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire.
All right, talk to me, Mike. Who you got at number 6?
I got Desmond Bane on the list. I didn't know if he was going to qualify, but we talked about it in the group chat and said he can make it, so he is on the list at number 6. One of my favorite basketball players. I think he improves his game every year. And last year, unfortunately, they just didn't really make much noise because of all the injuries, but he was still, in the time he played, around 24 points, still kind of playing as a combo guard, playing a little bit of point guard when Ja Morant is out. Like, he does it all, and I honestly think he's going to be better next year coming back.
Yeah, he would be my 5 if he played more than 42 games, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he's my 6 as well.
At 6, that's why I had Darrick White. I thought Darrick White had a very good season, especially when you're talking about.
I thought we was gonna have a consensus.
You thought so?
I got
what do we
Desmond Bane
want
at
one
6.
off? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that it's not going to consensus. It's not going to go.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I got Desmond Bane at 6 for all the reasons y'all said. I think he gonna have a better year this year too. It's hard. It'd be hard. You know, you get opportunity when you playing kind of quote unquote by yourself or you out
Yeah.
there, but it's also like, man, it's a lot on your shoulders.
I missed 12.
Yeah, I missed 12. Nah, who sent this? 12? Nah, 12. This your award, 12. I love Desmond Bane. He's so damn good. And he's a guy that goes against kind of what we was talking about earlier where you got the tween. Desmond Bane get this shit done without necessarily. Don't get me wrong. Desmond Bane got it bad.
You know what comes to mind?
but he
too?
don't have to lean
We was talking about
to it too much.
those guys that are really good at catching a 3 on the trail, or maybe even just pulling up on those little fast breaks. He's probably one of the top in the league.
yeah.
Easily. Shout out to Intuition Hoops. A couple years ago, they had a whole montage of Desmond Bane floating threes. Where he's just,
Yeah, he gets so open like that.
I love Desmond Bane though.
Can't express how excited I am for Grizzlies
So
basketball.
you got Desmond Bane over Darrick White.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that who has your number 5?
Yeah, that's who's at my number 5.
Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Darrick White.
We all got
I have
Derek White.
Derek White.
Okay, let's talk Derek White because he is as good as you can get
Best
from a
role player in basketball right now?
Yeah.
What role player you see get number 5 in the top 10 of their position? That's a testament to like the
Yeah.
shooter guard position not being that great.
But he just does
Him
so
also.
much. Like
Yes.
he handles the ball well.
You don't want to
makes-
task him with being one of your
Yeah.
3 best players, but if he number 4, there's nothing better.
Best shot blocking guard. I feel like he get a blocking game from a chase
But
down.
that's why I was saying, like, Herb Jones he's not that far away from that
Mhm.
because of what he gives you defensively, but then offensively, he don't do nothing wrong. It ain't at the same level as Derrick White,
yeah.
but it's just like, it ain't that far away either.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, I look at those guys and I agree with you when you was talking about the Cam Thomases to Jalen Green. I'm taking that. Until those guys hit the Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, I'm taking that personally for me.
Yeah.
Anybody else that's watching and they will take Jalen Green doing his shit over there, over that, and hey, cool, that's you. You build your team around that.
Yeah.
But for me, until you are a shot creator that is delivering at the elite of the elites on a nightly basis, no matter who is guarding you, like a Devin Booker, like a Donovan Mitchell, like a Anthony Edwards, until you're doing that, give me the two-way guy who is a lot better defensively, but he is better than you offensively than you are defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a tendency to skew heavy offense when it comes to a lot of rankings and stuff. A guy like Herb Jones and Darrick White, because they are elite at what they do, that's where it's like the pendulum swings for me personally.
It could be there for Jalen Suggs, too. Jalen Suggs is a guy that didn't make my top 10, but we're going to see how he does with the point guard. I have to take in consideration a little bit
how long was
of some of his
Draymond-
playmaking stuff.
How long was Draymond on the power forward list?
Huh?
How long
A
do we
long
have
time.
Draymond Green on
Draymond
the
ranked in our
power
power
forward
forward list like last year because he made an All-Star game the year before that.
Yeah.
So it's like by being the high-level role player, you can go very, very far in these rankings.
Yeah,
man.
facts.
Now, also as that guy,
I'm not ranking Draymond this year, by the way.
you're going to get hit. How many games did he play?
I have no idea.
You're going to get hit when we get to that threshold, though,
Mm-hmm.
because Drew Holiday was lower on our point guard list because his situation as just a independent independent thing, it's hard to weigh against all of the other guys who had who are some guys that we had higher than Drew Holiday? Impact-wise, Drew Holiday is going to be the guy, but his responsibility
He's not
is
matching the
different
same responsibility
as a Tyrese Halliburton.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that conversation, again, it's just a different conversation, but we're going to show the love to that
Like
impact.
Dame, Trae Young, Maxey, Fox.
I'm not putting Dame on the list. They ain't got Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I thought you just wanted those guys we had higher.
I don't think I had Dame higher than Drew Holiday.
Oh, okay.
Or yes, I did. Yes, I did. I might have. I don't remember.
I was reading my list. I don't know what yours looked like.
It's better than yours. I don't know where I had Drew Holiday. I forgot. Maybe I had Drew Holiday. Maybe I did have Dame higher. I don't know. I'm not sure. Who your
You had Drew. It said you had Drew at
9
9
Okay.
and Dame
and
at
Dame
8.
at 8.
Okay.
So
So I did have him neck and neck. And you had
for me,
Dame at 9
yeah.
and Drew not on your
Drew,
list.
Drew was not on my list. I had Fred
Need
at 10.
your ass whoop. But that's another conversation. Who your 4?
4 is Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving.
It's kind of hard not to put him in.
Kyrie
there.
Irving.
Kyrie Irving, boy.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie, it feels good to see Kyrie still on these lists.
It does,
And
man. Yeah, I wrote that name down with a smile.
I
man.
did.
I'm
too.
so happy that you, because so what I do normally is just go through teams and like, here's the pool of players so we can all have the same pool. So we're like, oh, he was a small forward. Somehow Kyrie Irving missed my
You
mind
need
because
your
he's
ass
such a point guard in my mind.
He's
still.
doing- I've typed that with an attitude.
Yeah, you called it because if he wasn't here, then yeah.
And I just love
fucked
that
up.
we saw in the playoffs that even when he's not scoring, he impacts the game in so many different
We
ways.
still do want you to score in the playoffs.
Yeah,
though, Kyrie,
facts. We
please.
do. Yes, Luka
Hell
did need
yeah.
you to score too. We also needed you to do the other stuff too. Like defensively, he was doing a lot. So I can understand maybe why he was wavering in the first half offensively, but defensively, he's just showing
He need
us
to be
that
more
he could
selfish.
really do so much defensively for you.
He needed to be more selfish, in my opinion.
Like
Kyrie is so good that I feel like at times he knew he was trying to think the game through, and
Yeah.
because he's so good, he's a guy that don't like to force the issue and things like that, which I love and admire about Kyrie. It's one of the reasons he's one of my favorites. He allows the game to come to him, but I feel like in that finals, he needed to kind of take the game a little bit. And he's a basketball peer, so I know that's not always what we want to do. We don't want to go in and say, I'm doing this. We kind of want to feel the game out. I know PJ need to get him a 3 to get going. We need to go get a shot for Darrick Jones Jr. Though I'm gonna get mine. They need to get confidence early because I know in the second half I can get 19. I can get 11 and a quarter. Luka gonna do what he do. But I feel like some of those games he should have came out,
At that
especially in
same
Boston.
time, it'd be like, damn, PJ, you 0 for 4?
Yeah,
0 for
right.
5?
Like, at a certain point, it's like, man, I gotta just go and do this.
I will say though, Darrick White and Drew Holiday did do a very good job on him.
Yeah. hell
Like
yeah.
they really made him.
But I also don't think that they matter. Kyrie will bust their ass.
Yeah, on the biggest stage, he didn't.
No,
I was waiting for him to say he wouldn't, because he definitely would.
But you know what's crazy?
What?
Me saying that he would bust their ass. I ain't the one that picked them. I wasn't the goofy that was saying the Mavericks gonna win. I wasn't the goofy that watched the Celtics dominate the regular season and the playoffs and sat out there and said, knowing
Now he just got to sit there with that face right there.
knowing that the Celtics had that defense, I wasn't up here talking about
Why he pointing his head down?
knowing that the Celtics had that defense and knowing that he was going to have to see Drew Holiday and Darrick White. See, I'm talking as a biased fan when I say you're going to bust their ass. But no, the Celtics defense is like that. So I knew when it was time to make the pick, I'm going to take my bias away. Now I can be biased. We just talking top 10. Kyrie will bust their ass. But when it's on the money, it was on the line. You see, I wasn't saying that. I was saying, hey, I got the Celtics easily, my brother. You tripping over there.
You right. You got me. I can't even argue it.
But if you would have won that, then you would have looked great.
You would have looked good,
to the
man.
montage.
You would've
Man,
looked good.
I thought he was going to come out there on his Cleveland type stuff.
Yeah, he didn't have Bron.
Well, yeah, Luka.
He didn't have who?
They
Didn't have
said he had the
Bron.
bad luck of lucky. They should never stepped
Right,
on
right.
him.
Yo, that too. You ain't take
yeah.
that into consideration. Boy, stomped on that man.
He didn't just
And
He
stomp.
had grown men say
he like
he
rubbed
stumped
it
on
in.
Lucky.
And he hadn't had a good game against them since.
That'll end next year. Kyrie gonna come and get them boys 40.
That was a
Well,
140
you only
point
gonna
game.
see him
eliminate-
twice. So
All he need to do is moonwalk on Lucky.
number 3,
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
I had Devin Booker.
No,
You do?
no, P, no.
I had Devin Booker.
At least it's some variation.
I gave Donovan a nod.
This is like the first year I feel like.
This is the very first year. The very
Since
first
the
year.
inception of
I
our
remember
show.
when they was so young, he was up here like, no.
It used to be
it's that-
flipped. I used to be the Donovan Mitchell guy.
Yeah.
And you were the Devin Booker guy.
Hold on. Let's get one thing.
I'm not.
straight.
You're not
Let's
turning
get
on
straight.
Devin Booker.
No.
We understand
Yeah,
that.
this is a ranking based off last year.
Yep.
Ask me who I think is a better player.
Who's the better player?
Devin Booker.
Okay.
I just think that last year, I got to give Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has grown like a soft spot in my heart because I feel like Donovan Mitchell, he's never going to get in this like, he just seems forgotten about. I don't know if it's because it's Cleveland. I don't know if it's because he's just not as good as these other guys. But I looked at the year that he had. I'm so impressed with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They missed all of those games. They went 17-1 out of their big three of players that we look at. Not to call them a big three, but just their best three players. He was the only one that was there present every single game over that run. I have to get that into consideration. I think the Suns were, a game better than them, and they missed all of the time. Donovan Mitchell he is the one that gave them that kind of push to be able to still have the type of season. That's ultimately why I gave him the nod. They are neck and neck, 26-27.
Yes,
They do
the
same
numbers
thing.
are damn near
Devin
identical across
Booker,
the
I'm
board.
This'll make
taking
it hard,
every day of the
though,
week, obviously.
I love me some Donovan Mitchell, especially once he became more of the playmaker and he really honestly just started running point guard. Obviously, they have Darius Garland, but I think that's where the issue becomes because it's like, okay, we might as well just let Donovan Mitchell run the show since he's doing it all anyway, and we could trade away Darius Garland. We'll get whatever we get back. But as soon as that happens, they're going to be like, all they need is another point guard to help create it. So I think they need to have a balance. But he does much.
But this is the first time we've seen Donovan Mitchell, and that's again, it's always a small glimpse because it ain't been full time, where he was handling it nice. Like he was carrying that responsibility. And I don't know if it's just because the Cleveland Cavaliers have more better surrounding pieces, or maybe I don't know. But he handled it last year well. Like I said, they had that run where they went 17-1.
Yeah.
Like
it was
in
really
that,
the eighth
and they was
seed. He
beating
catapulted
really good
them all the way
teams.
up.
yes, he was putting that shit on his back, 45, 37.
He was like a sleeper MVP pick at that
MVP
time.
pick.
Yeah.
And I compare that to the season that the Suns had. Though the season that the Suns had wasn't god awful, it was a little disappointing, especially getting swept, because I take the playoffs into consideration. I think sometimes when we're comparing apples and oranges, you have to find something.
Especially with the top
Donovan
guys.
Mitchell against the Magic. Do you remember when he had half the team points?
Yeah.
I mean, like, those are the things
All
that
of the
gave
fourth
him
quarter points,
the
isn't that right?
slight edge over my guy in Devin Booker. And like I said,
I'm
don't
not
get it-
mad.
Donovan Mitchell, I was thinking the same thing, and you made a lot of good points, and I'm not saying your argument is wrong, but I was literally thinking the same thing with that playoff. I was like, Devin Booker in that closeout game, he was one of them people that had like 40
No.
points.
But you know
Doc,
what? The
that's-
rest of the games, he was the first
He
game he
wasn't.
was trash. Second game he fouled out. Third game was man,
The
and he had
foul out game
49.
really pissed me off.
49.
He had
Devin
49,
Booker
and
should
now
not
if you
be-
just look at the stats, you said Devin Booker had a really good
Right,
playoff.
right.
He didn't. He really didn't.
And then what made it worse for Devin Booker as a Devin Booker fan, I got like a top 5 favorite players, and is Paul, D, Book, Kyrie, and then you got newcomers like a little Jalen Johnson, sprinkled in there, whatever. But as a Devin Booker
I hope
fan,
he doesn't disappoint you.
who Jalen Johnson, I
Yeah.
hope so too. You know what makes it as a Devin Booker fan? What makes the playoffs worse was that his opposite opponent, his matchup, was fucking making a statement by
Yes.
saying this. Not only is this position mine, the league is mine.
Yeah.
And I, as a Devin Booker fan, want to see him come back and say, "Hey, not so fast.
Yeah.
I think
Not so fast. This is my position too. I got be legendary, Kobe Mama mentality. I got my own shoe too with Nike, homie.
And Lord knows they the best signature sneaker in basketball right now.
They grew on me fast.
I have 5
Relax.
pair of Devin
Relax.
Booker ones.
Relax.
I think it was
You
a little
know.
bit of
Certain colorways are not for me though. Some of them colorways.
He
are
got
not
some
for
new
me.
ones dropping in like 3 days.
Yeah, I saw him on sneakers, and I was like, you know what?
That ain't the All-Star colorway, is it?
No.
It's
Let
one
me
that's
look.
purple and orange. All-Star, I think it's coming out in 2025, or maybe some month.
It's
Ooh,
this one.
I've been seeing those, yeah, because he posted something about when he was a
They're
kid.
just so comfortable. I ain't hooped in them because we ain't hooped in 2 years, but I wear them on a daily sneaker. If I'm
Okay.
going to the
They
grocery
look like
store,
they gonna be
I'm
that
wearing a Book
comfortable.
One.
Yeah, I might cop a pair. I'm gonna try to hit on.
No, you wear your Dame 9s. I'm going to wear the Books.
Okay.
No, you wear Chris Paul's.
He put his phone there.
Yeah,
Big-ass
you wear Chris Paul's. But yeah, that was just the main thing. I want to see Devin Booker come out. The playoffs wasn't great. I hate the fouling out. Devin Booker should not be fouling
should
out.
never foul
But
out.
then it's also a bad look when your matchup, because those two guys should guard each other. They shouldn't run from each other. Your matchup is not only outplaying you, but he is like,
Was Anthony Davis
He
guarding
taking
him?
your
Was
chain
Anthony
while
Davis
he
guarding
doing it.
KD?
he was definitely not guard KD. Wasn't Jaden McDaniels?
Carl Anthony Towns
Oh,
did a
Karl
lot
Anthony Towns
of
was.
that.
Oh yeah.
Now, Jaden McDaniels actually did a good amount on Book.
Yeah.
I feel like it was one of the reasons why he struggled for the majority of the series.
That was
But in the fourth quarter, no, Anthony Davis did take deep.
He said, "I want
Yeah.
the
that
Book
was
responsibility."
funny because was it the beginning? It was like the beginning. It was some stretch where it was like, oh, Cat doing I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
that was like the series where him and Rudy was doing all right in open
It's the
space.
best defensive series I've ever seen from Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, somehow or
Best
another, I guess 2 of the best ISO players in the world.
But they
He was
want to
okay.
talk about Terrence Mann from 2021. All right.
Well, but then he.
Well,
but
then it was
then-
Luka this year that was doing it.
Did you watch that series?
Yeah.
Luka was dominating Rudy Gobert.
I seen that step back, and that's all
I
that
knew he was
mattered.
gonna say that.
I
Well,
seen that
Jokic
step
was.
back. That's all that. When you step out and your teammates say, I shouldn't have switched that. You know it's the problem.
Do you think there's a center in basketball that defends that better?
Damn it about Anthony Davis. They still got game
I've
winning on, but they will defend it better. I'll tell you that.
So it don't matter. Luka's just Luka, is what you're saying.
Hey, if you
Oh,
gave
okay.
them,
Yeah,
if you
okay.
gave them
the same situation. You're saying that
same situation,
probably
20
would've
tries,
different result.
the results will be different. Drastically
Yeah,
different.
because Luka's human, so he will miss a few times.
That's luck adjust. Now we got to get luck adjusted numbers for that.
well, give him one time. I'm probably sure Anthony
I've
Davis or
seen
Ben will
Luka
get that
Doncic
stuff.
hit a step back on Anthony Davis multiple times in a
We see
single
him hit it
game.
over Kawhi. It's
He
a
does
picture
it
of
every- he
Kawhi and
does
Paul
it.
George doing this.
Well, you know,
Actually,
it's
didn't I
recency
tweet it
bias,
at you
so-
before?
You did. You
Yeah,
did.
I'm tweeted the exact thing.
Now this is one thing I will say for Devin Booker. We can move on to Devin Booker since y'all had him too.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah,
I have Devin Booker
I do
too.
Booker too.
Okay.
What pissed me off this summer
Uh-huh.
was knowing Devin Booker had the amazing year that he had. Devin Booker almost shot 50% from the field as a guy who shoots that ball.
Yep.
You see saw people on Twitter?
What they were saying.
You act like we got it because of what he did for USA. We celebrate Devin Booker now. Have y'all not seen Devin
No.
Booker prior to that? It took the USA for y'all to be like, man, Devin Booker can't hoop. What?
The USA thing. The
What?
USA
Oh,
thing
yeah.
almost made me keep him at 1.
What?
I won't lie to you.
Man, I like Devin Booker now. What?
It is crazy. He had a really good
I did
season.
enjoy that version of
I
him.
did too,
I did
but
too.
still, that ain't make you open. You ain't open up your
No,
eyes.
I've known he was
You ain't
a
open
guy.
up your eyes.
Yeah,
It wasn't
no.
nothing new for you. But I mean, we haven't seen that since Kentucky. So sure.
I
It was
already
cool
knew
to
Devin
see him
Booker
lock
could
in on
defend.
defense and stuff like that. But I mean, any offense they got from him, it was like that's Devin Booker shooting that ball. Like most of the
It just
time
made
it's
me
going in.
realize that it's a lot harder to be Devin Booker than it is to be Darrick White. Because Devin Booker turned into Darrick White
Easily.
for the offseason.
And you taking that.
Yeah. That was it. Like, it was so close. I wanted to keep Book at 1 for Olympics basketball because of what he did and mouthed his game around the other dudes.
But then you got
But
back to that playoff
I
series.
got to the playoffs again, and it's
Those
I do
stinky.
believe that Devin Booker is a guy that can easily flip it back to
I'm
number
praying
one.
he
Hey.
does. I'm praying. We need this to be
He
a
had a little bit
friendly
of that
rivalry. We need this to be
Dejounte-
the new T-Mac and Kobe.
Yeah,
With
they-
Book being T-Mac. I mean, with
Okay,
Antwerp.
because that lasted, 3 years?
Yeah. But if you was around for that, it felt like an eternity. But we need, and also that's hindsight, because when T-Mac got to the Rockets, we still in our mind thought it was going on. We didn't know T-Mac was never going to get out the first round. Anthony Edwards is T-Mac because he's with Adidas. Book is Kobe because he's with Nike. And he on a.
Also, D-Book got a point guard now, so he don't got to play that in-between game as much.
I think that's, I like when he does it, but true.
He
They
can
need
do
a
it
point guard.
both.
I just say I like when he do it, but they do need
Yeah.
a point guard. I ain't arguing with you.
Yeah.
That Michael's finna get back in the bag. Like, hold up now, listen. This is what I mean.
I was gonna say when you
Hey,
look at the
fuck it. When I
roster-
get home, I'm making a fucking Devin. I'm sorry for cursing so much. I'm making a Devin Booker build.
I'm finna make the Lamar Odom.
Lamar Odom.
How about, why don't y'all just make a center?
No, hell no. I'm not.
I'll try to play center at some point.
Please, I want to
actually
see him
want
play
You
center.
don't count. You don't play the game, bro. You play once every 4
Let's
days.
have this conversation.
No. Let's finish. Let's finish.
Yes.
Let's
Anthony
finish.
Edwards is number 1.
Yes. No, he said we
Okay.
finna have this
Right.
conversation.
That's it.
Hey, I'll make a center if you want me to, for real.
Okay,
Hold up.
Let's finish our list.
Golly.
We flipped it because of the run that Anthony Edwards went on.
Yes.
It's undeniable.
He is the number 1 shooting guard in basketball as of today.
And let's also, like we talked about with Shay. When you start to talk about, I ain't gonna use that word because I'm older. I'm gonna walk into my old head.
Just say swag again.
Like, I gotta find it for. I never was a swag type of dude either. Just
want
like,
one of them?
You can literally just say aura.
I never did that.
You can say aura.
I
It's
don't
okay.
want to.
It's okay.
I know.
It's
not.
okay.
Once the
huh?
word just said so many times,
I
it's a
don't.
little
Yeah, I don't
cringe
like it.
to it.
Swag
It's
was
been
the same
it's
way.
been cringe for a long
When
time.
we was in
Yeah.
high school,
Which is that's why you use it ironically.
I
though.
only said swag when Lil B was swag. Swag.
Or Soldier Boy when Pretty Boy
Pretty Boy
swag.
swag. Yeah.
One episode we should
Flag
do
surfing.
an episode where we all dress in the swag era.
Ooh, and we should do this. We should really do this. You disrespectful. Tell me, did you ever do this? No, I never did that. Did you?
No.
I seen a picture of you doing
I have
that.
done that before. Hell yeah.
With Bub?
No, I don't think it was a
Okay.
bub, but I was in
Because
that
Bub
swag era.
definitely.
I think he did it
What
in
was?
a picture
What,
with John. bro.
why did people think this was cool? What are you doing? What is this?
Snapback sit all the way up
Snapbacks
here.
and tattoos.
Never even on the head.
I had a homie, free my boy C's. He'd do this, but he wanted his hair to grow because Wiz Khalifa had the snapback and his hair poked out a little bit. But Anthony Edwards,
Anthony Edwards.
he also got swag. He got that.
That's crazy because he's 22 and you're almost 30.
No, but you have to have a certain swag to be
Swagger.
the best in your position. You have to have that like the kids say, that aura where you just like, I'm him. And there were certain times in the playoffs where he definitely pissed me off with it because
Yes.
they lose and get there. No, we're gonna win. We still gonna win. Like, no, we need you to answer some questions and be honest
The worst
about what's
one
going on.
that low-key made me mad, he's like, well, you ain't never been swept before, so he got the one game, and then they lost the next one.
Wasn't that Bradley Beal?
No, Bradley
was
Beal said it
Bradley
first.
Beal.
No, Bradley Beal said it first, and then Devin Booker.
Anthony Edwards said it too.
Oh, he did? Oh.
Yeah, he said he got a call from somebody. He's like, you ain't never been swept before. And he's like, that's what gave me that energy.
Oh, okay.
And then they lost the very next game.
Yeah.
But he kept his word. He ain't
Hey,
never
we
been
ain't get
swept
swept.
before.
Never
No, we ain't get
swept.
swept.
But that first series against Phoenix, that was like
Tone setter.
he averaged 38 and 6, 51% from the field, 44% from 3.
So
Yeah.
are we calling that the coming out party? Because we knew, but even when you know, it hits different when you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it because last year in the playoffs he also was really good, or
Against
the year
the-
before that.
It was against the Warriors, right?
I mean, his first playoff series ever against Memphis,
They
Oh,
lost
yeah.
though.
they lost, but he averaged 25, and I was like, oh yeah, and his efficiency was good. And then they did have the series against Denver The year before this,
They lost that too.
they lost in 5. And this one, he averaged 31. So we've known it was here, but to win the series is a lot different
And
than
yet,
put
but
up the
not
numbers
only
and lose.
win. We have to remind they dominated.
And that might have been a 50-50 split as far as who thought who was going to win the series. 'Cause I think I picked the Suns in the
I
series.
picked the Suns too.
I picked the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think
I
it was a
picked the
50-50 split.
Suns.
Yeah.
And I think in those games, you saw him literally like get the ball and like say like, "I'm not losing this game." It felt like there was moments he had.
Oh,
so
it was
many
real
timely,
moments.
big moments in those
The,
games.
the shit where he was talking shit to KD
Yeah.
moment. That's what I mean by swag and aura. Is to have those late game moments and say that's my favorite player of all time, but I'm finna bust his ass.
Yes.
That stands out. And I'm not gonna lie, when I make my list, shit like that comes to my mind.
It should.
It should, yeah.
It plays a part for
Moments
sure.
matter when you're talking about ranking players. Like, do you have what it takes to do it in those big moments? And Anthony Edwards shown you that he is that guy.
And that's why
And
a guy
coming
like
out-
Darrick White can only
yeah.
get so far. Because
Yeah.
he's never gonna be like, KD, this is my shit.
Coming out and beating the Nuggets 2 games on the road. Statement games. Coming out and taking both of them. You don't see that. What?
Taking both of them is wild.
Oh, you are
I
crazy.
I forgot how
crazy.
less entertaining that series was.
How did you feel
compared to other
when
ones.
they lost the 2? Because he went on the road and won, but then they go home and lose.
I agree with Mike here, though.
True.
Looking back
happened?
on this series, it was fun because it was back and forth, but none of those games was really good until game 7.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
It
came
was
up here and said that.
blowout,
yeah.
blowout.
Yeah, they was,
We was
yeah.
waiting for that game 7 was it though. They delivered.
Yeah. And even that ended up, I'm looking at the wrong series. That was Denver blowing the lead, right? They were up by so much.
Yeah.
They were blowing the lead. And he didn't have a great shooting game that day, but
How did they come? I don't even remember how they came back in that game.
got to rewatch it. I don't know
Yeah.
either.
That was our top 10
That's
list.
the
And I
top
cannot
10.
wait to see the changes in next year.
Who's guys that could jump on
Hey
this?
fans or everybody that's watching, please screenshot when the stuff come out, our list and stuff like that. I went back to try to find our old list, and I even went on Through the Wire Instagram and Twitter. I just didn't see any graphics of our list. I should have went on Clips YouTube channel
For what again?
just to see our old
Oh,
top
the
10.
old list, yeah.
And I couldn't find them because it's good to always see like we're gonna be wrong about some things. It's hard to project and we're not projecting, but like next year if Devin Vassell is 4, it would be good to look back like dang, look how far.
Mhm.
But I couldn't find our list.
Mm.
Couldn't find it at
Do
all.
you think anyone's falling on this list? Like, could a Kyrie fall?
Anybody is eligible to fall because of the games played.
Oh, yeah, and also Dejounte won't be at 7, so that opens up a spot significantly.
Yeah.
That opens up some room.
Cam Thomas might average 28, and it's going to be hard to not have a 28-point per game score on the top 10 list.
Watch me not have.
Oh, I would have if he had 28.
Yeah,
he's
no.
making the list.
28 is OD though.
It might not be an efficient 28. Or it might be. I went back to watch a lot of film yesterday because he was another guy that was in contention.
Mhm.
Trying to
was.
figure it out.
Yeah.
If he's giving you
Tough shot
28
maker.
a game, but they 15th in conference, does that matter?
No,
It depends on what the 28 look like.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah.
on what the 28 look like.
28, 2
Yeah,
and
he-
3.
If
That
2
sounds-
and
that
2.
sounds like
2
Cam
and 2.
no,
Thomas.
he's not gonna give you 2 and 2 with 28. He gonna give you 4 and 3.
He
Accidental
gonna have to,
assist.
he gonna have to make
gonna
some
have
passes.
to.
He's
'cause
going
they
to have
double
to
him.
hit the snap with somebody closing out too hard and he kicking.
Or that fake assist where you give the ball up and the
And
person
somebody shoot.
creates for 6 seconds and then they
Last year
still
he
get
gave
an
you
assist.
22 and 3.
How many turnovers?
The usage go. That's,
That's not fair. That's not fair.
but I mean, I looked at that when it comes to Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs be turning them up.
Yeah, it's like 1-1,
Yeah.
right? Close to 1-1.
And in the playoffs, he averaged almost 4. He averaged more turnovers than assists down there.
Yeah.
I like Jalen Suggs though. I'm glad y'all put him on y'all list because I was like, Jalen Suggs, but I'm like,
Tough one.
I can't put him over some of these other guys.
Tough one.
I'm happy that he's gonna be back to point guard though, because like I said, Jalen Suggs, as we know him, the point guard.
I just want to see what KCP is. He gonna be the
And
the
then
Denver
also, yeah.
Nuggets KCP, or is he like numbers gonna droop down
Washington.
a little bit?
Oh
Yeah,
man.
because like they gonna need him to knock it down.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a decent amount of pressure on him as a role player
Mhm.
to do what he's been doing without Jokic being his ball handler. And because he shot 40% from 3, I'm just gonna round up for him basically since the championship run with the Lakers, and that's including Washington, which
And
shot 39%.
I don't think that's like crazy volume though. Like he might take the
5 to 4 game, depending
so
on
like
the year.
I mean to compared to like the top shooters, that's not really crazy volume. But you think he take more this season? Because they going to probably leave him I leave him open, but he's gonna be the one guy they probably got to pay attention to.
I would say it probably stays about the same.
You think so?
How you feel about Austin Reaves, Mike? I didn't hear you say anything about him.
I don't know really.
I feel like it's kinda
Not
hard to even put him
crazy
on a list.
excited, honestly.
No. Time out. I didn't say he should be on the list. He didn't say his name. He hasn't said his name at all.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's the
'Cause-
same excitement I had for
'cause
like the last couple of
If
years.
he put him on the list, me and you was gonna jump his ass, right? Because he shouldn't be on the list, right?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah,
I didn't want you to think that I thought Austin Reaves should be on the list, big fella. Come on. I think
if
like
he would
you.
have built on what he did in the playoffs the year before, I think he would have been on. He would have had an argument to be on this list. But if anything, he was a little bit worse in terms of like probably just like being effective as he was. There's a lot of times where he was just kind of struggling to find his role. But I think he still has the talent to do. He's still a really good shooter and he could create pretty well. He just wasn't that this year.
I need his 3-point volume to go up significantly.
Yeah, he's a big one of those like he's really big on the pump fake on the open shot and let me try to get a more difficult shot or something like that.
Oh, you know what? When I say I didn't realize it was at 5. I was thinking
like-
about his last year stats. He shot 5 a game. I'll take that.
He liked the midi.
He do. Yeah,
I
he
see him
do.
perfect get the midi all the
He
time.
liked to search for a lot of content too. Remember that again? There was that one year he was getting all the calls. Now they just think that's just supposed to be him.
Yeah, it was at a point where Austin Reaves was like getting like a superstar.
Superstar
type
whistle.
I
And
guess
then he
that's a
would
Laker
go up
thing.
and it would be nothing.
Evolution
Hey.
for the Lakers is to get them somebody to shoot more threes if it ain't Austin Reaves.
Come on,
We got
Dalton.
something.
What we got?
I think the highest riser. I don't want to say the highest riser, but a guy that Anfernee Simons played more games with the season he had. I could put him on this list.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a guy that could definitely crack.
Do we
into-
think he's going to stay on the Blazers this year?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't really see them trading him right now. Doesn't seem like anybody's available. Like I just don't see it. If anybody's traded, it's probably gonna be Robert Williams.
Which is one of the rumors. Potential trade candidate according to Wendy.
I just don't know who's gonna want him.
That was
Who's
my
going to want
question.
Robert? The Pelicans would want him.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
very true.
That's very true.
But what would the Blazers want back?
Yeah, that's the question.
Maybe
That's
they could
always
get
the-
like a little buy low offer on it. Just because, I mean, if he's not even playing for you anyway, at least try to get something for him. And then it's like the Pelicans.
What you asking for if you the Blazers?
like, what's this contract?
Probably
How
some
much we
second
have
round
to pay
picks.
him?
It's 13
I
a
don't
year.
think y'all probably some second round picks, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I don't
said
think you
13
get no,
a
you're
year?
not getting no first rounder.
Yeah, because
I don't think you get no young player for him. And
I
even
don't
at
know,
that, you
'cause-
have so many players already. Like you have 3 centers.
Austin Reaves or Simons?
He was
Anfernee Simons.
he's one of the pride and joy picks of the Damian Lillard trade. It's like you don't want to just give him away, but you might have to because you got all these damn centers, and his
Yeah.
ass can't stay healthy anyway.
True.
So to make that 13 match, it's actually more difficult than you would expect for the Pelicans.
Because they middle range guys are important. It's the
Yeah.
Herb Jones.
You're not trading 12 million Herb Jones or 5 million trade money for the third, or even 4.5 million. Are you trading Jordan Hawkins in this trade? I think you're kind of interested in his 3-point
Nah.
volume and percentage for your
Yeah,
future.
I think he's. I mean,
I love
get-
Jordan Hawkins,
guess
but
you
I might
do.
have to.
I know you need a center, but like,
Well, I guess the problem
Is
with
that
that
just
is
you
is
got to
that
bite the bullet?
is there's nothing you can package him with anyway.
yeah,
It would have to be Brandon Ingram, so that turns it into a 3-team trade then because the Trailblazers don't want Brandon Ingram, right? They don't want Brandon Ingram.
Do they? I don't know.
I mean, for an expiring deal.
Then that means you're gonna give me draft capital to take your bad
Yeah, because they're
contract.
not just going to take him and let him
Yeah.
walk free.
Um,
I like Jordan Hawkins.
There were some interesting trades that somebody tweeted at me from Zach Lowe's podcast was talking about trades for different people. And none of them were like, oh, that's the one. But it was something that made you think a little bit. Like for the Pelicans to acquire a center through Brandon Ingram, of course, the one that we all mentioned before is the Walker Kessler deal. And maybe the reason I said it was interesting because Vucevic was mentioned.
Oh, this is a 3-team deal.
Nope.
He was just mentioned.
It was like, hey, what if Brandon Ingram was a Bull?
Oh,
And I was like, I would not like it
Oh, I see.
because that just makes us better than what we should be when we should be
Yeah.
bad. It's like, you mean Vucevic is not on my roster anymore? I'm kind of interested in that idea.
Do you always think about it like
Send
that?
Zoe back?
Like we're a bad team. Let's just go get the pick instead of actually like having just like let's bring them on because we don't really got nothing else. Like let's bring some new excitement onto the team
Mm-hmm.
rather than just like let's just tank.
defensively, a front court of Zion and Vooch doesn't even sound good.
They were top 10 with Zion and Valanciunas last year.
Yeah, they did make that work, I guess. So.
Yeah. Why you sound so sad?
Because I forgot Val also ain't that great of a defender either.
Yeah. So,
But
who knows?
they figure it out, I guess.
Now let's talk about this 2K stuff. Here.
Talk about 2K, then fantasy / overall
Yep.
football.
Yeah.
This is the thing, Derek. We're gonna have an honest conversation, okay? Don't get offended by anything we say. Nothing's about to be said that's crazy anyway.
Why you look so worried in the eyes?
Right, I'm just being dramatic.
We talking
my,
2K. You see
my
like,
tone of my voice probably sound like we finna really. Number one, the play center is a very heavy responsibility. It's very heavy. It's very frustrating to play with a center that don't know how to play. Would you agree?
Yes.
I don't think people know. I don't think you realize how much responsibility goes into it. And then secondly, the availability. Just like yesterday, you like, nah, I'm good. Your center can't be a nah, I'm good guy because the center is kind of the most irreplaceable thing.
Yeah.
Because it's so important.
Everybody got a lock, so we can replace 2 through 4.
Yeah.
We just mostly need a guard
Guards
or
be
something
heavy.
like that, and we need a big man.
But yeah, the big cannot be a nah, I'm good. Nah, I don't want to. I'm on Discord, but I'm not playing the game. Like you gotta be available. Availability is the best ability in playing center.
Also, you
That's
gotta be
the
real
biggest
good
thing.
in that pick and roll defense, or at least know how to play like help.
That's what I was
Yeah.
referring to. I ain't want to say no name. Prado defense in the pick and roll. Is big.
He got a player that he guarding a big man that's 99 offensive rebound. He can't shoot. He hugging him at the perimeter. It just don't make sense. Like
I've
go help
kinda
your team.
I've kind of spazzed out twice on this 2K at guys, and the two guys were centers.
Oh.
Teriyaki Poppy.
Teriyaki.
I ain't want to
Poppy,
go. I
man.
love Teriyaki Poppy. I ain't want to go in, but I'm like, man, But it partly wasn't his fault. KB had a 99
But
offensive rebound.
a bad center against a good center will stick out like a sore
Man,
thumb.
bro, I felt bad for him a little bit because there was times we did have to tell him to rebound, which was frustrating. I mean, not to rebound, but to box out. Guys just be thinking they're gonna press wide. No, LT, box out. But it was times where he actually did and still couldn't get the rebound. And it's just like, man, bro. So that's why I'm like hesitant to tell you.
Would you
a
make
center.
for like a legit big man or like a stretch?
I want to play like him. I just
He
want
sound like somebody in the Discord.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I hope KB don't gatekeep that center build.
I just want to rebound and just play defense.
It's so much fun when you could just dominate the glass.
Yeah, that's all I really want to
Especially
do.
offensively, because you just add more shots to your
And
team.
you just
and
suck
you
the
don't win
life
those
out the
games.
other team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you get on those offensive
You love
boards,
doing that.
That's crazy.
ain't nothing more deflating than when you got to play an extra. I'm talking in real life. When you got to play an extra possession of defense.
It's the same thing on a game because all these dudes want to do, especially in a rec. We haven't played pro-am without collective five. They want to leak.
Yeah.
So you get that offensive rebound, it's free. You get your guys badges.
But I miss the grind a little bit because I
You
used to
just
make.
open up at a 96 now?
Yeah, I
97?
used to make a center and be like, man, I can't wait to hop on the record, play
Bro,
with the
I
guys.
swear, I felt the same way. I loaded up and I was bored, so I played my career, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I don't really have anything to do
Yeah.
if the guys ain't on
You
because
just
I don't need to
grinded for
grind them.
badges, if anything.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I just made this build. I'm a 96 already. I ain't had to do nothing. Like, I ain't had to go through no. You know, you have to go through the certain parts where it's like, I ain't got my mid range up, man. I can't take none of that. I'm- Yeah, so that's a weird thing that I miss about 2K.
And we are 7 days in, not even.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how much more rep you get for not rep, but XP you get for playing like rec and stuff versus like my career.
Mhm.
Like you get so much more.
Yeah, they
now.
want you to be out there in them fields, man. They want you on that court.
Like you ain't even gotta have a crazy statistical game and you still get a decent amount
You
of
ever had
XP.
this?
No.
What does it say?
Oh, actually, yeah. They have it at
Is
Trader
it good?
Joe's.
That's what this is.
Oh, that's the Trader Joe's website? Oh, I
Trader
didn't know.
Joe's.
This ain't
got
like a
all the hits,
website,
huh?
but it's just like
Man,
I've been to Trader Joe's like 2
yeah,
times the
I've
last
had
week.
that. It's good.
I got.
It is?
I was there
Yeah.
yesterday.
like graded.
Yeah.
out
Did
of
you get the
10.
gyro meat?
8?
Oh, I
Bro,
did not get the
I'm
gyro
telling y'all,
meat.
next time y'all Trader Joe's, get the gyro
I'm going
meat.
after this.
Get the gyro meat.
Do
I
they
didn't
have
get-
pitas?
Oh, I don't know.
You can get
I got
pitas
them
from
other places, yeah. I got mine from Whole
Pete's.
Foods.
I get
Oh,
my
okay.
pitas from Pete's.
But it's a hit.
I got the Takis though. I didn't try them yet, but they're in my cabinet.
A hit as well. Bro, I'm telling you.
It's just like certain things. It's like I'm getting that from Trader.
That's crazy that everybody else.
Transitioned to Trader Joe's,
I was on the way for
You
so
were,
long.
you were.
Because you put me on to the pancakes, and that's when I started to go.
It was my girl's birthday yesterday, so we're spending the day together, and we were talking about Trader Joe's for some reason. And our guy A Bugs, who's a good, like he's always in the streams and in the Discord with us, and he watches the pod.
One of the better 2K players.
Yeah, he. I said he's a CEO of Trader Joe's, so he can give me all the insight. And I was like, he just told me they got the pumpkin spice in the.
They do.
And she was like, we gonna go, and so we went yesterday, and we got a bunch of stuff, and
I went on
that's
Sunday.
when I got the Takis, and
It was too crowded.
They
The
said-
moms was in there.
In the NOTV group chat, Trader Joe's runs equals y'all entering y'all Unk era.
The thing
I must
about
have been in my uncle for like 4 years.
For a long
now.
time. Yeah,
the big thing about Trader Joe's is number one, you were that's been your spot. I went some years ago with Dana before my birthday. We was going to get like some snacks or something, and I went. I'm like, this weekend, this.
Yeah, I've also had that experience
Yes,
the
I'm
first
like,
two times.
this Whole Foods ass Aldi. I ain't going there.
I never been there
I'm gonna just go to
before,
Whole
but
Foods.
Whole Foods as Aldi is a perfect
I
way to
was-
describe
I'm like-
Trader Joe's.
But
I've never
then
been there before.
I went again. I'm like, oh, and so I went a couple days ago. I'm like, oh shit, and I found the fried rice and all the shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
Derrick been holding out on me.
that
No,
frozen section elite.
Oh
It's
yeah,
elite.
yes, because it literally has like stuff that's like.
Got the spicy chicken wings yet?
No,
In the baggy, bro.
My girl used to go to Trader Joe's by
Wait,
herself,
have I?
and I used to
I'm
always be
trying
like,
to- I don't
ain't that store only like 4 aisles or whatever? Like, I used to talk bad about it.
Yeah,
Then
I
I
used to.
actually started going. I was like,
somehow
all right.
they
so
Even their flour section is really
Yeah.
dope.
you deserve the
It's
credit because
crazy.
you've been on them, but Mike deserved the credit for pushing me to go because of them griddle things.
Oh,
I
He
gotta,
talked
I gotta
about that.
tune in because I have no idea.
I
what
have
you're
I
talking
don't
this
think you can
morning.
have them.
about.
They're not
You know,
dairy
like
free.
you ever had a McGriddle from?
Mhm.
It's just a bun.
Are they? Do you know if they gluten free?
I don't know.
I
I
got
have
a
some.
picture of them. Let's see.
I was gonna
sent-
say I got some in the. We
I
got
mean,
some
I
yesterday.
might stop there on the way home too. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's
Hey,
just
so
all
going
go
there.
together.
Hey, get that lava cake,
Oh yeah, the lava cake is good.
bro. I'm telling you, she is like, you want some?
Did you get
She
the
had got
vanilla
me
ice
little
cream?
bowl. I didn't get it from Trader
Nah,
Joe's, but I had
KB.
ice cream in the house,
Oh,
and so
They're
I
not
put it.
gluten free.
Because you know Trader Joe's, everything that's gluten free, they put right on the front.
Yeah.
Gluten free. This just say keep frozen.
When I say that lava cake,
Both of y'all said it tastes
it's
like a restaurant.
10 out of
Both
10.
of y'all said
it's
that.
like 10 out of 10.
and you
if
gotta
get-
they French vanilla ice cream that they
Get
got.
it-
It's
you-
really
yeah.
good.
You get it with some ice cream. You ain't never gonna want no other dessert. Bro.
That fried rice, I ate
it
some
was good.
fried
Fried
rice
rice.
from them yesterday. It was
Fried
good.
rice is
They got the
good.
shrimp one too.
What
yeah,
else?
they do got shrimp fried rice too.
What
It's
else they
really
have?
I
good.
don't fuck
Wait,
with the
hold
shrimp fried rice.
No,
They got the chicken fried rice.
They
but
do
I'd
have-
rather
they
make
got
my own
both.
chicken. So I'm like, I bought like a bunch of bags.
Get the
I-
lamb. I got a rack of lamb last time.
I've never had lamb.
I didn't cook it right.
you know what's funny? I was thinking about that when I was making my pork chops yesterday. I was like, KB had a rack of lamb. Maybe I should buy and just
Yeah.
try.
So you had the
Yeah.
lamb yesterday. I had the fried rice. You had the lava cake. What you eat from Trader Joe's yesterday?
Nothing.
No.
I
Trader
need to, I
Joe's.
need to lock you in.
Trader Joe's. This ESPN we talking about y'all on. Come on, do some. Do some before
I think I was
start.
turned off by Trader Joe's originally because it looked like it would be more expensive than what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like it would have Whole Foods pricing, but they
no,
don't.
I wonder if
Oh,
that's
now
because
we
it's
just
all
gonna really
like
glaze. Huh?
it's all Trader Joe's products.
And what I love
Yeah,
about
that's the-
Trader
that's the
Joe's,
crazy part.
it's all their products and they're dog friendly. I went over there. They had a dog section for my dog.
Yeah, they do.
they
it's
they
their
bag it
environment.
for you. They
Yeah.
double
They
bag
just
it in the
talk
paper
too much.
bags. Dude, don't talk to me.
You ain't got a welcoming face there because every time I'm there, oh
And
yeah,
then
my
last time
daughter
I went-
loves these.
Especially when I go with Ivy. Oh, they really
Oh,
want to
so
Oh,
talk.
I don't got no kids.
I don't
for
go
them to
grocery
talk.
shopping with the kids. That just add an extra 30 minutes.
So
Tell
what
me what
else?
y'all
What,
need,
what
I'll
else?
go.
What's the snack? What snacks am I missing out on?
I'm telling you, those Takis.
I just Googled. I
Hard hit.
Googled while we was on the episode. They said a dark chocolate peanut butter cup.
Try the the Honey Crisp. They have an apple called the Cosmic Crisp.
Wait. Honey Crisp.
The Honey Crisp
Apples.
apples.
Honey Crisp apples.
Oh yeah.
But they
I
have
said,
an
I'm
apple
gonna
called
try
the
it.
Cosmic Crisp.
Why
And
did you
it's
tell
so
me this
good.
yesterday? I was just
The
What the hell
Cosmic
they
Crisp?
do to it to make it cosmic?
I don't know. I guess they had a
Right.
collab.
They had a collab.
with Cosmic Brown.
Cosmic apple.
Yeah, it's called the Cosmic Crisp apple. It's actually really good. It's more red. It's darker red than the Honey Crisp, but it's actually good.
Let's talk.
What's next?
Let's talk football / fantasy. Week 1 is in the books. Bear down.
I
It
already have
wasn't.
a-
Oh yeah, amazing.
It was
a fake ass Oreo. You had
the
that before?
Oreos are better though.
Okay.
It was it felt like a Bears game because it's like the first half was just like, come on, man, we gotta do something. Like we gotta have
17-0.
I felt like I was living in the past again.
Yeah.
Like it literally felt like that.
But I'm not gonna
Cal
lie.
Orton back
I'm
there.
gonna be
again.
real honest. I know it hit different because we wanted Caleb and his offense to be high powered. But what I always liked about the Bears growing up, even when I was in my Cowboys fandom phase, I love when the Bears have a stingy defense.
Yeah,
it
oh,
feels
it's the
like
greatest
crazy.
thing, bro.
Yeah,
A takeaway matters feels so much better than a touchdown. To
for
me.
real, bro.
scoop scores.
It's not it's not
blocking
the
punts.
Bears without them having a gritty defense. It can't
Yeah,
beat
I
the
agree.
Bears at all.
Yep.
One
Can't
thing
be
about Caleb though, he looks so small in that pocket, man. Or
What you
like he
mean?
had a couple just because he looks short. Now he ain't Kyler
Oh.
Murray small, but he looks so small where he's trying to throw over the front three. And of like 4 of his passes got deflected at the line of scrimmage.
They
And luckily didn't end in any picks because a couple of them was like jump balls. and
Yes.
it was bad.
He threw one on a screen pass. He threw it like right to the defender that jumped up,
See,
and I was like,
a couple of his throws were just out of whack completely.
but he had one pass, and I think it was
Keenan Allen dropped a touchdown.
Keenan Allen
Yeah,
dropped one.
that
I think he had
one
one pass to DJ Moore that was real. Like it was off a little play action. It was real crisp. Like he had some unfunded too. It was right on place, and I was like, that's the type of seeds we kind of want to see. But
Yeah.
I think it was first game.
Yeah. I'm not panicking.
The one thing
at
I
all.
will say, we got to give up on some of the home run plays. This ain't college.
One of
Yeah,
the
he was
ones
holding
he-
it a lot.
oh,
He was
man.
holding it. I felt like a little like too long sometimes. He would try to do too much.
But
One
also
was-
it was times where he didn't have no time.
Yeah.
The O-line just
Absolutely.
I don't know what was
Mason.
going
Oh,
on.
Mason said who it was. It was Sheldon. One of the O linemen. The last
Oh,
name
yeah,
was
he was
Sheldon.
getting crunched.
He
He
was
was
getting
getting-
blown up
Yes.
every play. I'm like, golly, hire Darrick Williams to be the guard because at least he'll hold
Derrick,
for a couple
Derrick
seconds.
Williams will change that line.
I'm
so
telling
fast.
you, bro. I'm telling you.
Give me 6 months.
It
Call
also
me.
was different because Will Levis was going crazy in the first half. In the second half, he literally could do
Bro, we were
nothing.
watching like, so he gonna use his legs now. He about to run for 12 yards all of a
What's
sudden.
going on?
And one play he threw the ball. He like flexed. I was like, damn, why is he jacked?
Yeah.
He was like jacked.
He is Jack. Yeah.
And then he had like 4 plays. It was like,
He-
thank you.
Shout out to Gia Duddy.
He falling down, but he tried to throw
Bro,
it.
that shovel pass that ended up
He
in a pick
immediately
6.
regretted it. He on the ground like this with it because he
That's-
immediately.
He
How
fell
old
down-
is he?
He fell down to his
don't know.
knees when the
I
law
think it's
came.
what, year 4 for him? Year 3, year 4?
Oh, okay.
No, this year too.
I was it year
Oh,
2?
is year 2?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Who am
okay.
I thinking about then? I'm thinking about Gardner Minshew.
From the Raiders, yeah.
But hey, win is a win. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
So
I think
fantasy football.
Wait. Here, I'm panicking for Drake London because
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins looked like shit. And he went from Desmond Ritter to Kirk Cousins. In my mind, again, Kirk Cousins coming off the injury, the Achilles, ACL, whatever the hell it was. But Kirk Cousins had been a good quarterback, even
And
though
he's
he's
not a mobile
36.
QB.
He's gonna
either.
throw it.
He's going to throw it. He did not make a single nice pass the whole game. And I saw a picture/video on Twitter. I wish I screenshot to give credit, where like the entire Kirk Cousins career, he when before the ball was snapped, his feet were offset. So it's like his right foot was higher than his left foot, and then that's how he dropped back. Well, now because of his Achilles injury, he's starting every play on a like solid square ground, and that's just different for him. And he couldn't make any plays. He couldn't improvise, which is not something you expected him before his injury, but definitely not now. And he has so many plays where he just underthrew the receiver. If there was any amount of pressure, he didn't know what the hell to do with it. And so like a Kyle Pitts type of stock has dropped significantly. Drake London's stock has dropped significantly. And I'm like, fuck. Because you know what I should have done? There's 2 major parts of our fantasy football draft that I wish I can have back.
You
the
want
first
Cooper
one
Kupp?
is not drafting Cooper Kupp in the 3rd because I wanted to, but I took Drake in the 4th or whatever it was. Whenever I took Drake London, Cooper Kupp was still on the board. Should have took Coop. And then the second one is Zay Flowers. He's not bad. I just didn't need him because I have enough wide receivers. I would have went running back then. But
You ruined the league.
Man, it's crazy.
You
Cooper
never
Kupp
ever-
was balling.
You never-
too.
I
You
He was
I might
never,
go undefeated if I had Cooper Kupp.
you
was
never
balling,
ever
bro.
let Pee Wee the Plug walk out with Brees Hall, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp. Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
I was super happy about Jaden Daniels though, as like what my 12th round pick to be
Yeah.
my starting quarterback. I don't expect that from him every single fucking game, but he was QB3. And then he scored a touchdown with like a minute to go, and that's how I ended up winning this
that
week.
won you.
So shout out
Against
to
who?
bro. Against Smalls.
Okay.
And Smalls had Saquon. I'm like, you didn't win with that performance from Saquon?
Balls over there scrambling because he had some
Who's his
running
QB?
backs.
Let me double check that. He had Herbert, who
Okay.
didn't do anything.
He had
Yeah,
some
he
running
did.
backs. So I was like, hey man, talk to me. He like, you ain't gonna trade Cooper. I'm like, talk to him.
He also had ETN, who had like 40% of the
fumbled
snaps.
he fumbled in the red zone.
He sure did. Yeah, fumble loss. So
I got the number 1 seed in the league right now after week
Your
1.
team spazzed, bro.
It really did.
Yeah.
He was almost in trouble because Tyreek was in handcuffs.
You know what's crazy? Tyreek could have not played. I still would have won this week.
Who you
Oh,
play?
for real?
I played Reese.
Oh, you
and he
played
had
the
the
worst.
lead.
That's why, because you
Reese
played the
had
worst team in the
65.
league. So your numbers boosted because it looked like you
Even
beat him
if
by
I
a
didn't have
gazillion.
25, I
But
still
did you
would
put
have
up
had
the
like
most points
80.
in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was number
That
1.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I think he was 1. I was 3. I don't remember who was 2. Mason? Terrence?
It goes me, Terrence.
And then me.
Oh no, I'm not looking at the right thing.
Mason was second. You were third.
Beauty and a Brees.
And then fourth was
What's
yours
your
truly.
team name, Mike? You gotta come up with a name,
Mikey
man.
Wikey. I was
No.
thinking about
Yeah,
that.
same.
I was thinking about that
gotta think about a
yesterday.
name.
I was like, I'll come back to it, but I'm gonna definitely change my name.
Because right now my team name is Duck.
No, it's not. It's something else.
What you want for Drake London? Let's talk.
Cooper Cup.
Stop talking. I love a buy low.
No, I'm not giving up on Drake London, even all that said.
I mean, last year with Desmond Ritter, he still was almost 1,000 yards. He just didn't have touch. He just didn't score.
He had 2 touchdowns the whole season.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. it's
Mike Evans
unfortunate.
gonna have that in the game next week.
Because one thing about Drake London is that he's gonna get all the snaps. Like he played 100% of offensive possessions.
Who
So
was
it's
god awful? Austin, what's
Travis
Austin?
Kelce.
Marvin
Oh.
Harrison.
No, I'm
Travis
talking about
Kelce.
teams.
Oh,
Oh.
Who can I pick on?
What they scrambling?
Reese. Well, Reese.
You
was
got
the worst one.
Reese and you going
god awful is crazy.
You got somebody in this room
the
that was
worst-
god awful.
The worst team, you only score 5 more points. Then you're right with them. No, God being
Where his
closer-
number 1 draft pick, Garrett Wilson, did shit because his quarterback is 64
You got to
years
take that into
old.
consideration when you draft him. He also got 15 points from David Montgomery. You're never gonna get that again.
Wait, how many points did you get from David?
15.
15?
Yeah, no, your
your
shit.
team weak. Your team weak.
There's no silver lining even on the bench either. It's like, oh, I just got to start
Boy
him.
started Josh Palmer.
Yeah, Josh Palmer was.
Didn't Josh Palmer also get kicked out the game too? Yeah.
What'd
They
he
was
do?
fighting.
He was fighting.
Oh, son.
Hey, tough week for the tight ends, man. Sam Laporta, who I thought was just going to skyrocket because everybody else tight ends sucked. He only had six.
Who was the tight end one?
Isaiah
Oh, it was
Likely.
likely. Yeah, likely at 30
Who
fantasy
not going?
points.
He not going to be tight end.
I
Are
don't
you
know,
starting
they
him next week?
They
They
were
said it's-
doing double tight end sets the majority of that game, and Mark Andrews didn't do anything. So he not gonna put up 30. He's not putting up 30. But he might
Foster
still be
Moreau is
decent.
the second tight end for the Saints. He had 12 points.
Does anybody have him in the league? I don't remember him.
Both of
getting
the tight ends for the Saints went crazy.
Interesting.
Jawan Johnson had
That's because Derek
9.6.
Carr
Yeah.
looked really good.
And the
bro.
Saints was just going.
No, that's
crazy.
because Derek Carr don't throw it down the field. That's why.
Bro, he looked-
that's why I
hey, he
wanted
looked
Alvin
good.
Kamara. Well, he did throw it down the field. Rashid Shaheed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know who
But
also
he
don't
loves
throw it?
throwing it to his quarterback. I mean, running back.
Deshaun Watson looked like shit, bro.
Oh yeah.
He looked awful.
I saw a tweet that said only the Browns would get Deshaun Watson, and then Baker Mayfield gets better than him.
Yeah, because he was like a quarterback one, right?
Yes, and he was on
quarterback
your
And you know
bench.
who got Baker Mayfield? Me, I got him on my bench.
That's crazy.
Didn't I just say that?
You better
I-
trade him.
you
as
beat
John.
Hey,
me
now
to
you
it.
John
pissing
loves
me off.
Jordan Love.
Don't flex on us.
Have they confirmed Jordan Love's injury?
He's out for like they
That's
said
what it's
4 to
all
6, I
about.
think.
Oh damn.
Say
You
what?
win a week, you get the flex.
At least that's what my
Nah,
dad told me.
yeah, I'm
That's
just
my dad
talking.
told me.
I'm right with you. You know I'm flexing with you, baby. Yeah, man. I feel good, man. I'm finna holler.
Derek, let's talk, bro.
And I also had a big injury in my first
Yeah, let's
week.
talk. You need some production over there.
What up with Kyrie
I'm patient.
Williams, Austin?
I'm gonna see what Brian Thomas give me.
All right. I'm
Thomas.
gonna let all these guys wait as
Was that
long as they
Commanders?
can and say, yeah, I'm gonna wait. And
No,
then
the
before,
Panthers.
before y'all know it, who?
Brian Thomas.
He don't play for the fucking Panthers. He play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's why you need to
Jaguars.
trade
My
him.
bad.
That's why you need to trade him. You don't even know what team he play for.
No,
trade
he just
him.
needs to trade for depth.
I just knew it was kind of bluish. That was
He wasn't Cole Kmet.
No.
Let me hit up my boy.
Your boy Swift didn't get many touches at all.
What?
well.
Kyron Williams.
The thing with Swift was he couldn't get past the line of scrimmage because
Yeah.
the old line was
Let
getting
me
blown
message
up.
my boy.
So in my mind, that means you should trade for James Conner.
Why would I trade for James Conner?
Because he's
Let me look at your
elite.
team, Austin. See what we got over
He's
here.
what?
Elite.
Let me see.
Do your Googles on Mr. James Conner, please.
So you
and
got
come back to
Kyron
me.
Williams, David Montgomery, Garrett Wilson.
Why are you saying you want DeAndre Swift?
Damn, how long Jalen
Hell
Waddle out?
Oh,
Damn, boy, you got a lot going on over there.
Yeah, you better be calling phones, brother.
Don't call my phone though. I don't want nothing off your team.
man, Kenneth Walker's
Matter of fact, who is your number
Why
one
the
pick
first
again?
week for me got to be so bad? I'm losing two.
But that's what I'm saying to you. If Kenneth Walker, I almost said Walker Kessler. If Kenneth Walker is out with his injury, right? I will give you, what's the bro name? Zach Carbonet, who's his backup, who in his 8 carries, he gave me 11.
Why would I give you the starter?
No,
What?
I'm not saying I want Kenneth Walker.
Oh,
I'm just saying
oh.
I have the player that can replace him. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't want Kenneth Walker. I mean, I
Oh.
do, but not in this trade. Like,
What you trying to get?
I'll send some your way. I'll put together a package for you, brother.
You can just tell me. We talking.
When he
now.
don't want to
I
say it
don't
out
want,
loud,
I don't
that
want
means
shit
it's
he
gonna be
got. I
something.
just beat him.
No, because if I say it, y'all gonna try to influence him and steal my goddamn trade like last year.
No, I didn't steal no trade last year.
Derek, did he steal my trade last year?
Me and Derek had already been talking, and I heard
I
y'all
don't
was
remember.
talking.
I think I
called.
weighed the offers. I don't remember what the offers were.
I'm not the type of player that come in and swoop shit. I want a trade to happen.
Well, I want to swoop some shit.
So what does he want?
I don't know what he wants. He's just offering me
I actually have not looked at your team, so
Kenneth Walker's
I'm
backup.
I'm kind of just
He hasn't
talking
told me
right
what
now
he wants though.
because I haven't looked at your team.
But I don't know. But depending on what he wants, that is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I know. I
Right.
just don't know what he wants.
All right.
And also, it's not even confirmed that Kenneth Walker's missing time.
It ain't confirmed, but
because it just said Seahawks coach Mike
if it depend on what he want, it ain't
did not
bad to have.
have an update.
You see how you stopped because he couldn't pronounce the last name.
I ain't peeped that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce the last name.
That's
See-
you just got to say the initial.
Right.
See, the thing about Austin, man, he don't know. He don't know what he got. So I don't
You
know.
know,
what he
I
got.
love somebody that don't know what they got.
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying his team looks bad, man.
Well, he came in with pick 11 because he was a late add to the
I would have
draft.
did better with pick 11 than this shit. You got back-to-back picks, basically.
Mhm.
And he went Garrett Wilson and
Kyron Williams, which is
Kyron
not
Williams.
bad. It just depends on when you took Joe
I wouldn't
Burrow.
have drafted Garrett Wilson. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers for anything.
But he's another guy who seems to be quarterback-proof, though.
He got a documentary coming out, I guess, on Netflix.
No. He does? Why?
I don't know. I just saw it on the
Oh,
timeline.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
who's
saw
your
that.
2 rooks
Let's see
again?
what's this.
Year 2 rooks
Is
is
that
Kyron.
Kyron?
Yes, Kyron.
He got a win first week.
Yeah, Joe Mixon,
Bro,
boy.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's
I'm not-
He
spaz.
definitely had
Can you
almost
stop
30.
to ask me for my number 1 overall pick? How many times you gonna do that?
You
That's
never
both-
said anything.
Both of your. If I don't respond, would you want me to just deny him?
No.
I just leave him.
Fuck
Who's your number
that.
1 pick?
Because you do the
Jamar
same thing.
Chase.
You do the same thing in our group chat when we talking to each other about these podcast episodes, and you leave it on red.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
It don't take nothing to say
Then he
yes
say,
or no.
Then he say what?
It don't take nothing to say yes or no.
But yeah, Drake London and
That's the old
Flowers.
trade. That was the old trade.
Yeah, I'm not taking that. Decline. I had to make sure I hit decline.
You know, D Mills, he an A+ Hassler or Hagler.
Hagler.
Said he was at the dealership for 8 hours. Hagler.
Yeah, he did.
So in this one, I would receive who's this? Zay Flowers from, and then I don't know this other
Car
receiver.
dealership was like, bro, just take these.
Zach. Who is Zach? Oh, that's his backup.
That's the guy we've been talking about this whole
Zay
time.
Flowers was decent too.
Jay
KB
Flowers is a
had him
good
on his
player.
bench.
He did.
Yeah, he's a very good
Jamar
player.
Chase is worth way more than that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just don't know. I don't know why you think you would get him for a low ball just because I need a backup.
I didn't think that was a low ball. The man had 11 fantasy points in the 1 quarter that Kenneth Walker was out.
Bro, cut it the fuck out. You getting Jamar Chase. You trying to finesse. It's okay.
He think you don't know about Jamar Chase.
His 0-7 start, he gonna be like, damn, I probably should have took Carbonet.
No. I'm going to still be happy with what I got.
at 0-7.
At that point, I can't even be mad.
Yes, you could because the people are offering you trades.
Hey, Reese, he had a terrible week, man.
Bro, I told you.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had 2.8 points.
Dude, your
man.
team sucks, bro.
Don't it?
DeAndre Swift is in your starting lineup.
That boy had.
Puka Nacua is out for 4 weeks. Travis Kelce is washed. You need production.
Bro,
Travis
You think
Kelce is
Xavier
wild.
Worthy give you that every week? You
Reese
expecting
ain't
that?
get more than 10
We gotta
points
see.
from 4 players from like he didn't get more than 10 points from his starting
His team was
flex,
so
tight
bad.
end, and
You,
2 receivers.
you
didn't
would
get more
know
than 10 points.
that Anthony
Combined.
Richardson had 32 points.
Yeah. Out of
Anthony
65.
Richardson had half of the team points, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He had quarterback 1 and ain't do nothing.
Well, yeah, Chris Olave, I didn't realize he had 11 total yards in week 1. Yeah, he started Keenan Allen too. This is tough. But he do got Bucky Irvin on his bench. That's like a big waiver wire pickup in a lot of people's league, but he drafted him. I don't know.
I
if
got
that's
the
gonna
number
matter.
1 waiver wire player, Austin, if you want to do something.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to hit up Reese for somebody.
The number 1 waiver wire
Oh.
player right now is
I don't
Jordan
know.
Mason.
His team sucks. His team genuinely sucks. Other than
But
Amon-Ra.
I
Yeah,
don't think he's
that-
gonna panic though.
He should be.
I don't think he's gonna panic.
That's what I'm
though.
trying.
He
I'm gonna
should
try
be.
to trade for Amon-Ra St. Brown to see if he's really panicking.
Oh, nah, he ain't doing that.
I'm gonna give him Drake London and Zay Flowers. He asked for Zay Flowers earlier, so maybe this is enough for him to say yes.
Yeah, he ain't doing that. I talked to Reese.
Keenan Allen. He got Keenan Allen. He dropped that touchdown.
Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. Let me look at Small's team, man. Should we wrap up the episode?
Yeah, let's wrap up the episode.
We appreciate y'all. This is our top 10 list. Again, comments are open for all of y'all criticisms and opinions. Can't wait to see what y'all saying. We appreciate y'all. Next episode, we'll have some more nothing to talk about. And then Tuesday, we'll be doing a small four. So we'll
Y'all
see
like
y'all
the nothing
Saturday.
though.
We appreciate y'all. We out.
Peace.
Peace.